We're live!
Oh!
Hello!
Look!
Hi.
I don't usually sit over here.
Twice in
I'm
1
usually
week,
kind of over
Sean.
there.
Oh, that's because I'm the star.
Quiet you. I'd like to go ahead and just start off by, for those of you who don't know what we're doing, this is a brand new game we're playing, and we're not going to be jumping all the way into the game. We're going to be doing some session 0 today, some character creation. So this is a chance for you to learn about the game as we learn more about it and get ready to play. And we are super duper privileged to have for this game, which I will let him introduce and tell us all about, the creator of the game running it over in our narrator square up there in your top left. Please welcome Zeke Coughlin.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
Hi, Zeke.
So yeah, tell us what we're in for. The show is yours, my friend.
Okay, you want me to give you a brief intro into the Clockwork Dominion role-playing game?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me give you my 3-minute or less elevator speech here. In the beginning of the world, when the clockmaker came upon the abandoned nothingness, primordial chaos, that which was before what was, which we call the Pontus. It was a formless void, and the clockmaker took this nothingness and formed it into the clockwork, his home for all of humanity. We were supposed to turn according to his will to whatever he had hoped for us in the culmination of his plan. We broke the clockwork by doing terrible things to each other and to the clockwork itself, and now we are living in a system that is slowly crumbling back down into the chaos from which it was made. The Pontus devours creation at an ever so slow rate. This explains all the crazy things that happen in history that no one can explain. Rains frogs, rains blood, people spontaneously combust, Earth swallows people or cities up, all sorts of crazy things happen. This is evidence that reality itself is slowly crumbling back down into the nothingness. Upon this stage is the British Empire of 1896. It is a somewhat technologically advanced British Empire where people are vying for their own desires, pushing forth their own agendas, all the while being threatened by the slow destruction of reality. So, steampunk gothic horror. We use cards, no dice. I'm not going to get into that quite yet.
All right. So we are creating characters today?
We are. We're going to be running a Witchfinder campaign. Witchfinders are the special agents of the crown. In real life, Witchfinders occurred under the Witchfinder General under King James in the very early 17th century. In reality, they were disbanded for doing terrible things. But in our world, they were cultivated and grown into an organization that hunts down the things that go bump in the night or the people that summon them and makes them disappear before they can become a threat to British society.
My name is Sam. This is my brother Dean. We hunt monsters. No? All right, fine.
Not too far from the truth. Although that show was such a Buffy the Vampire Slayer ripoff.
Okay,
the creators talk about stealing from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
In the early seasons, it was almost like, oh, they're going to use some like real mythology and stuff, and this is kind of interesting, and it just so quickly descended into that total.
Seriously, read an artwork. I read an article recently on the number of people who believe theology based on that show. And just like, oh,
That's what happens when you use
power to
attractive
do
actors. It's just- nope.
Anyway, so shall I read the Witchfinder background so you guys know what you're getting into? And
Sure.
then the people abroad will know how we're going to go about this. This is from page 30 in the core rulebook. I'll read this as dramatically and entertainingly as I possibly can. Witchfinders and the laws regarding witchcraft. About 80% of this is actually true. The role of magic in society usually falls outside most people's notice. The rites of the church have become so commonplace that they are rarely thought of as magic by those not deeply educated in the faith. And the threat of witchfinders forces magi outside the church to be very secretive about their art. Thus, magic as a mystical art has all but faded from the public mind. Imperial subjects do not disbelieve it so much as they question its morality, its authenticity, and its usefulness in the face of modern science. In the minds of most people, magic is a novelty, an atrocity, or an eccentricity indulged in by the wealthy and the credulous. Those who recognize the true power of magic have made certain that laws were passed to control its use. Legally, magic is separated into two categories: the rites of the church and witchcraft. Ecclesiastical rites are viewed as beneficial to society and were sanctioned by Parliament in the Act of Uniformity of 1662, which produced the current Book of Common Prayer and lists all the rites sanctioned for use by the clergy and laity. Witchcraft is a legal term referring to any magic condemned by the state and specifically includes conjuring, speaking with spirits, magically locating lost objects, provoking involuntary love, harming another person, or desecrating religious artifacts. Within the law, the term magus is used to refer to anyone who practices magic, while witch exclusively refers to those practicing witchcraft in its darker cousin, sorcery. I will pause here to say that we bear absolutely no ill toward any of the neo-pagan religions that use the term witch in a positive light. This simply happens to be the way the term was used in 1896 in the British Empire. Moving on. Under King James' Act against the conjuring of witchcraft and dealing with evil and wicked spirits, that is seriously its name, 1604, the penalty for witchcraft where non-fatal harm is caused is 1 year's imprisonment for the first offense, but repeat offenders or those that conjure spirits, kill, or employ the kind of sorcery are sentenced to death by hanging. Interestingly enough, heretics are burned. Witches are hung or hanged. I know, weird, right? You didn't think that. I'll give you that thing.
Is there a reason for that? Or a logic behind it?
It's worse to burn someone because burning evidently interferes with the resurrection of the body and that kind of belief that we'll all raise from the dead that Christianity holds, which is weird because nobody thinks about that these days.
Right.
But in 1896, that was a thing. So burning someone was like thought to eradicate them. Whereas if someone was guilty of something that wasn't utter heretical badness, you're like, we're just going to hang you. And then God can judge you. So it wasn't as bad. So Thomas Cranmer got burned at the stake, whereas witches were just hung like thieves or what have you.
Slap on the wrist, really.
But the trick to this is, and this is important for picturing how to play a Witchfinder in the game world. Magic in England, in reality and in the game world, is only illegal if it's used to do illegal things.
That makes sense.
So on the main continent of Europe, magic is illegal. Like, it's just, they think they did burn you on the continent, but it was just something that it was wrong in and of itself, whereas England had a more moderate thought process about it. So it's witchfinders will often go into an area just because someone's practicing magic doesn't mean that you get to like abscond with them and throw them into some dark dungeon. It's a little bit more than that. Even if they're practicing some sort of odd magical practice or belief system that you might find appalling, it's not illegal. It was very pluralistic for its day and age. But the Witchfinders themselves, there are two orders, and this is important. So the original order was sanctioned in the Star Chamber, which if you are a Doctor Who fan, you know all about because they talk about that in there. But it's you can YouTube it or Wikipedia it if you want to know more about it. But it's a big thing about the British Crown. So you have the Order of the Star, and the Order of the Star was basically sanctioned from the original chain of people from the first Witchfinder General, who were all crazies who went around murdering people. So Parliament attempted to disband the Witchfinders, and in our game world, the king basically said, fine, you disband them, I'll make them special agents under the crown. I'm the only person who has authority over these people. They now act directly under me and can circumvent all other authority. And Parliament went, shit. What do we do now? And so the church stepped in, and the Archbishop of Canterbury inserted the Order of Canons, who are clergymen and other people who are related to the church to kind of be the moral compass of the Witchfinders. They also serve as keepers of lore, of religious history, mystical history, occult knowledge, magic, and a slew of other things. But they were primarily created to be the people who are the ethical compass of the Witchfinders. So the stars are like, I know how to solve this problem, because when you're a hammer, everything is a nail. Whereas the cannons were like, oh, we can find other ways that we might be able to deal with this problem. And so the two of them together hash it out.
So just to be clear, Dipper and I are buddy cops.
You can play it.
I love it.
Which one are you playing?
I am the star.
So you're the bad cop.
Awesome. I love every part of this. Yeah, you're the good cop. You're the studious studier, and I'm the loose cannon who plays by his own rules. None.
Ooh, I'm gonna have a hard time reading. Okay, all right.
This is gonna be
I
so
gotta do this to
interesting.
you. This is gonna be fun.
So the way that we're orchestrating Witchfinder campaigns is you at least have to have one Witchfinder star, one Witchfinder cannon. Or the crown requires that these two people be present to hash things out, so that all sides are shown, to create royal justice, or the king's justice, or the queen's justice in 1896. The other people in the game can be consultants. They can be aspirants, people that are attempting to join one of the orders, or they can be any of the slew of specialists that the Witchfinders will bring in, like magistrates or special knowledge or doctors or anybody that they need for a particular cause.
Now, do they always get like sent out in pairs? Like, do they partner up and stay that way, basically?
Well, the pairs don't always partner up, although in the fiction we like to do that because it makes good stories. But there always will be a pair. There is never a time when a cannon is sent out without a star, or vice versa.
Oh.
And the higher ups in both orders would really come politically down on someone that tried to do otherwise.
Okay.
I want to play with all of this.
Sean, this is not what we talked about.
No, look, this is fine. Everything is going according to plan. The chat knows exactly what I'm thinking.
Karis gets it. Karis gets it.
I'm on you, making a character that's like good but timid. So have fun.
You can also the Witchfinders will draft people into their service for a slew of different reasons. Like, one of the things about the game world is, so if you're designing a character, and we'll get here, but I'll throw this out now to kind of whet your palates in case you want to go down this road. But there's something in the game world called charism, which is the Greek word for gift, and it's basically the Clockmaker has bestowed upon you a some sort of divine gift that allows you to do divine will in the world. Unfortunately, the Clockmaker is a deistic absentee god that doesn't really tell you how to use it or what it's for, or even that you have it until you stumble upon it. Not only that, but he tends to give it to whomever he chooses, which the church doesn't like, because sometimes he'll give it to Muslims or people that shouldn't have divine gifts.
What?
The church tends to put the kibosh a lot. Some people have been burned or hung for being evil, vile worshippers, when in actuality they were given divine gifts. And so the Witchfinders tend to get these people and be like, we're going to save you from being subject to your local church's fervor. Not that the Anglican English folk are really known for being fervorous. They're all kind of, let's sit down and have tea and talk about this kind of folk. But local villagers might not ascribe to that. The Witchfinders will grab people and save them in exchange for service. We'll pull you out of this really bad situation where you may have been, tortured or killed. Now you work for us. And so it's one of the few places where you can find people of varying religious backgrounds working for what would otherwise be a Christian church organization, and nobody bats an eyelash. It creates really awkward situations that are great for role-playing.
Interesting.
Okay.
If you want to get into that, it's a thing.
We do.
A lot of the game book really gets into, if you want some punk in your steampunk, there's ways to get into situations that deal with everything from how 1896 views sexual identity, to how they view different religions, to how they view different political parties, to how they view different ethnicities and races and bloodlines and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to deal with the kind of punkish injustices that the dream of a better future through technology is supposed to fix, have at it. It's all there. And if you want to avoid that, then you can do that too. All right.
We don't avoid things around here.
No, it's not our bag.
We are ready to go.
All right, get your character sheets ready. The first thing we're going to go through character creation step by step. I'm going to tell you the steps. There are 10 steps to character creation. I'm going to mention what they are so you kind of know what to expect, and then we'll go through each one. Does everyone have a book or a PDF or something to reference?
I have a character sheet.
Did you guys grab the QSR? No.
All right.
Sean's got a character
While
sheet
he's talking,
and a
grab those.
boatload of questions.
That's good. Some of the people watching might not have them either, so I'm going to walk you through this. Step 1 is you choose your bloodline. Bloodline is basically where you come from, your ancestry. Are you a descendant of pure blood humans and you are supposed to be in the clockwork? Or are you descended from some sort of tainted bloodline? Someone in your ancestry was a fae or a Nephilim, the descendants of fallen angels, or were you absconded to some far off Pacific island where you were experimented on and made into a beast folk like the island of Dr. Moreau. The second thing that you will do in step 2 is you choose a pursuit. The pursuit is how do you deal with the threat of the Pontus? And when we choose them, I'll go through what they are and we'll talk about them a little bit, but it's basically the world is being devoured ever so slowly, like a mixture of global warming meets the nothing from the never-ending story. What are you doing about it, or do you care? It's an ideological thing. Step 3 is your background, because in a Victorian game, nobody cares what you do, they care where you come from.
Right.
And then we assign aptitudes and we assign skills. And then we'll assign assets and liabilities, which are kind of the advantages and disadvantages that make your character really unique. Save an asset for membership if you are a fully fledged Witchfinder. You will need it. Or if you beg me, I might just give everybody an extra asset so the Witchfinders can have it for free, and then if you're not a Witchfinder, you get a bonus. It's an optional rule in there for these kinds of campaigns. I can be swayed.
We gotta like fewer boosts around here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
I'm taking liabilities, okay? I'm making my life hard.
What are our options for pursuits?
Well, can we start with in order there, buddy?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Want to start with Bloodline?
Yeah, you start with
Bloodline. Sorry. What are our options for Bloodlines?
All right. Option 1 for Bloodline is pure blood.
And I want to point
Pure
out,
blood is-
for those watching at home, if you follow the link to get to the character sheet and you get the fillable one, it's actually a drop-down menu for things like Bloodline and stuff, so it makes it a little easier.
Yep.
Oh, well then. I clearly picked the wrong one.
Luddite.
Somebody wanted to print.
Okay, Luddites are period.
Yeah.
So pure bloods are you are descended from pure-blooded humans. There's not any corruption in your bloodline. You are meant to be here, and the clockwork turns in your favor. The whole world was made for you, and you are still a part of the divine plan in whatever way that you see. That means that magic is less likely to work on you. It means that certain types of entities, like demons, are less likely to be able to get a hold on you. It means that you get additional potential. I'll talk about what that means in a little bit. And it means that in general, everything is more favorable toward you. But you don't get any special unique abilities. You do get
Get a mastery, boy.
You do. You start the game with a mastery, which most players have to work to get. So it's kind of like you are purposed with this role in the clockwork. So you start with already having this amazing, like, feat ability thing.
That's neat.
Sorry, I know too much stuff.
But
I know too much.
It's bad. It's so bad.
Okay,
And if
so
I forget something, throw it at me.
tell me about. Okay, so I see beast folk, pure blood, changeling, and Nephilim. Is changeling the Fey folk?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about changelings.
Man, he's always about being out of order, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. Is it? Oh, sorry. It's after. Okay, well, I was a beast folk. And then,
Yeah. Next is Beast Folk.
Okay, let's
then
do Beast Folk.
Changelings,
Let
and
him
then
go through the options.
but you guys already made your characters.
Okay, so
Okay, never mind.
beast folk, to some people's chagrin, not furries.
Oh,
They are horrible surgical abominations. Nothing against furries. Beast folk just aren't them. Beast folk are basically people who were experimented on. The Island of Dr. Moreau in actual history was written as a treatise to bring people's awareness to the problem of vivisection surgery, which a lot of people were really against. If you're unfamiliar with this, vivisections are dissections of living animals. And everyone was like, this is terrible. And the book was basically written to raise awareness about this so people would stop. And vivisection was made illegal and everybody stopped doing it. Well, in our game world, it was a little bit more like modern day cloning. They made it illegal, so everyone said, huh, okay. And they went off to islands in the Pacific to continue vivisection work without any sort of oversight or laws to guard them. And then they started doing terrible things by mixing up animal parts with people parts and came up with the beast folk, which were people that they kind of absconded with or got from shipwrecks or bought in some sort of Eastern slave market and basically did terrible things to. You do get all sorts of interesting animal augmentations. You also are more subject to disease because you have to take all sorts of immunosuppressant drugs to make your body not reject these augmentations. And in general, the world views you more like an animal than a person. But animal augmentations are also awesome. So there's that. Changeling. Changelings mean at some point.
Hold on a second. I think we're having an audio issue.
Can you hear me, Karis?
Actually, I think the volume is way down on the Twitch output.
Karen's can you hear? No, I think it's all of us.
No, it's just the general volume.
Yeah.
Because I have it like turned way up on the monitor here, and I can barely hear it.
We should ask where we got cut off.
She just sent it. She just sent the message.
Okay, so somewhere with the beast thing.
Shall I keep going? Shall I not?
If we're
Ashley, should he keep going? Can you? How's the audio coming along there?
I have
'Cause
Twitch.
it got really quiet on the output.
Yeah, I have Twitch open. I can't hear us at all.
Uh-oh.
I was like the volume's max, but
Well, see, I have it on, but I have it muted, so I can't hear it anyway.
I don't want to blow out my ears.
Again, I have it muted. That's I don't turn the volume on when I watch it, so I never know.
Mm-hmm.
I just watch the chat mostly.
Yeah, volume's really low. Dipper will shriek with me.
Yeah, boy.
Poor
me-
Cars has a
me
volume.
too.
This is the part of the video that's going to get edited out later, right? So this is where we say all the comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all you, Cars. I got the volume down. Hearts.
I have it turned way up.
I do have while they're doing
Can you
this.
turn it up? Okay, this is I guess it's the volume we're gonna be at for the stream. So-
Really? Okay, I guess we all need to talk really loud. Sure.
I guess yes.
I heard you.
If you crank everything all the way up, you'll be fine. Hey guys, and if you can't hear us, don't worry. The video will be reposted on YouTube. Let's just keep going.
All right.
I've got audio recording back up. It's okay.
I'm
All
turning up the audio gang. Paris, how's my volume now?
Well, no, because if you do it, then it's going to be unbalanced. So let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
All right.
Okay.
Changelings. So changelings are someone in your ancestry was a fae. Generally, this means that at some point in time, a fae being either became enamored with someone in your history and bore a child, or the fae being actually bore a child and probably found someone, stole their baby, and put the fae baby in its place, leaving the human child to die of exposure while the literal changeling got raised by human parents, or your mom like was seduced by a fae lord and now you have a half changeling brother. You can be a weak-blooded or a strong-blooded changeling. Strong-blooded means that you get more fae abilities, but you also look really fae, like horns or odd-colored skin or all sorts of whatever. Depends on what kind of fae you're descended from. Like if you're descended from the Tuatha De Danann, you probably look like a beautiful elf. Whereas if you are descended from a troll, you probably won't look so pretty. Weak-blooded changelings are much less noticeable, but in general, people like fae if they're pretty and not if they don't. There's a general distrust of fae because a lot of the fae abilities are social. You know, you can control the way people feel, you can control the way people think, you can control the way people argue, and you can trick people really easily. So fae have some really interesting abilities that make people kind of not trust them. So there's that.
All right.
Does
That's
that answer
me.
your questions?
That
I'm
you're
a-
a changeling?
I'm a weak-blooded descendant of the Tuatha De Danann.
Tuatha
Oh.
De Danann.
Yep. Whoop. Them fair folk.
I'm gonna go with.
There's still two more options, Sean.
Well, yeah, but I've already decided.
Or one more option.
One more. Tell me about Niflheim.
Oh, seriously, wait till you hear this. You'll
Yeah, you might change your mind,
Yes.
honestly.
All right. Pure Blood's
So,
the best option. Change my mind.
So, if you're familiar with the kind of myth of angels rebel against God and they fall and they become demons,
Mhm.
that's actually a poem written by John Milton. That's not like religious lore at all. Religious lore from Talmud, the Bible, Judeo, Abrahamic, what have you, is that 200 angels just quit. They just looked at their jobs and said, this sucks. I don't want to work for God anymore. I want to descend and basically take mortal brides, work as farmers, live like people. They really got it made. Problem is that angels aren't meant to do that. And so when they descended to earth and they had babies, their babies were horrible, half angelic abominations, some of whom were 13 feet tall and infected the world with sin. In the book of Enoch, the flood was not made to eradicate humanity for falling to some sort of whatever. It was meant to eliminate the Nephilim because they were a plague upon the world. Nephilim, the Hebrew translation of the word is he who causes others to sin. Maybe. We don't really know. It's some archaic words in there. You liking this so far? Wait, there's more. In this game world, Nephilim have some really strange abilities. So you have angelic immortality. You are effectively immortal, but the clockwork instinctually wants to eradicate you. And so there is a bane. It's unique to the individual, and it is what would permanently kill you. Witchfinders that deal with ancient Nephilim that they don't really want to mess around with, don't try to kill them. Because when Nephilim die, they become demons. Doesn't matter how good you are, when you die, there's no place for your soul to go because there was no afterlife made for half angelic, half human abominations. So your soul restlessly wanders the earth like a hungry spirit until you go mad and become a demon. Witchfinders typically deal with Nephilim by putting them in cages and dropping them to the bottom of the ocean, where they continually die and are reborn, going slowly crazy.
So do they flip again when they die as demons? Like,
You can't die as a demon. You can just
okay.
They have weird abilities like the Nephilim ability, knowledge of the flesh, is if you can drink the blood or eat the flesh of a mortal, you can steal their memories or skills.
Oh.
They last
See?
until dawn.
I knew it.
There's an interesting little fictional piece somewhere in the book about a Nephilim that steals memories and keeps a journal because the memories are lost when the sun rises. So he has a journal of all the memories that he's stolen. It's really kind of interesting character concepts.
Okay.
If you live a very balanced life, you look mostly human. Someone without a mystery skill might not even realize that you're not human. You just might be a little too tall, or a little too pale, or a little too whatever, but within the parameters of humanity. The more unbalanced your life, either too orderly or too chaotic or too corrupt, you will start to manifest angelic properties. And angelic properties in the Bible are things like horns and 4 faces and being covered in eyes and having wings or talons or eagle feathers or all sorts of crazy stuff. So technically in England, it's not illegal to be a Nephilim. And so a lot of them flee here, although a lot of angry mobs tend to blame them for things. You know, a couple of Nephilim somewhere start putting themselves up as gods with divine powers and attract worshippers, and all of a sudden, every Nephilim's a bad guy.
Right.
Most Nephilim
Hashtag not all Nephilims.
Yeah. Most Nephilim live in tiny little communities and just want to be left alone.
Nephilim lives matter, guys.
But
that was too fun.
the iconic character in the book is actually a Nephilim who was in Spain, and the Witchfinders found him on the coast, and they saved him in exchange for service. So the Witchfinders might be the one place a manifested Nephilim won't be hunted. And they keep a watchful eye. Those are the 4 bloodlines.
Okay. I am going to be a pureblood.
After all that,
You
What?
damn right.
Sean, seriously.
No, look, I have a plan. I've also renamed my character.
Oh no.
Look, you know groans. You save those groans.
Save it for when it happens.
we're gonna
Yeah.
need him.
Fuck, I'm curious about one thing. Would you be willing to do a sibling type character thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's getting worse.
And now I'm debating back and forth. I was like, when I'm like, all right, if he does pure, then I'll do the other thing.
Okay. Do whatever. Look, do whatever you want to do. If you want to make a siblings and stuff, I love that fucking dynamic. Let's do it.
I'm gonna make you like the over. I don't know. You decide.
No, like think like the most like obnoxious big brother.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like some input because I was originally thinking pure blood, but I don't know if everybody being pure bloods is lame. My concept for a character is hyper rational. Probably would probably be agnostic to the point where he's just a scientist at heart, but he also wasn't quite accepted into the right places for reasons we can get into, but I kind of got to fill that aristocrat role too because I don't think anyone else is doing that. So his whole thing is I think he very much didn't believe in, just like a lot of people didn't believe in alchemy until it started kind of working all of a sudden. He definitely doesn't believe in the clockwork and didn't believe in the Pontus until he witnessed these 2 witchfinders at work at one moment. And then said, oh, well, that's something I can't explain. I'm going to pursue that. I'm going to go figure out what's going on over there. And his whole goal is to quantify the Pontus, to assess it scientifically, which I know is impossible. But I think that's his he wants to basically codify into science.
So that's a discovery pursuit when we get there. So just hold on to that. But I mean, In terms of Bloodline, you could play that any way you wanted. I could tell you what backgrounds and pursuits and other things that you would choose to do that. And you'd want to make sure that one of your skills was maxed out, because the Witchfinders would only take you if you max out with something.
So he could be a pure blood, and I was thinking with the scientific mastery. I was thinking an alchemist.
I'm thinking that would be what would draw you in. You need, because if you're going to get scouted by the Witchfinders, you need to have some sort of gimmick. You need to have something that makes them want you, which also could be not a power in the game. It might be that you choose a peer background, and you're not a scientist. You're someone that dabbles in science, and they picked you up for political reasons.
Or you wrote an incredible dissertation.
You could play it in a couple of different ways.
Could be.
It depends on whether you want to be someone who's actually like. I would say if you want to do someone who's actually like an alchemist or a scientist or a member of the Royal Society or something like that, choose a pure blood, because you'll get a mastery out of it, and that's really going to help define your character.
Okay.
If you want to do someone who has other sorts of, what have you, then you could do anything. You could choose a peer background and be, used by the Witchfinders for power in Parliament, or you can choose.
Well, my thought is that he's from an aristocratic background, just so that if need be, if we need to talk to the right person, he can name drop and get us in.
The question is my question is like,
but he's autistic, basically.
You're playing Sheldon Cooper.
Bussing.
Not so far off, yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, you warned me, but I didn't.
I'm taking awe and phantasm as my two glamours.
Aw.
So he's not really comfortable with the social graces until he absolutely needs to, and can do it for a minute to get what needs to be done. But this is why he didn't get to finish his formal education. Also, he was kind of caught dabbling in human alchemy. So wasn't really allowed to continue his education. And then, ended up with the Witchfinders.
Sounds to me like he's a witch.
Alchemy's a science.
Science.
Although the stars do tend to pick up people who are kind of shady moral backgrounds who are willing to get stuff done.
Oh, won't have to prove it to me.
Oh, here we go.
So, but I will pitch to Melissa, if you want a kind of awkward, dramatic sibling relationship, you could choose to be a strong-blooded changeling, and that you were raised in the same family, but you clearly have a different father.
Yeah, I was going to ask you which one can be the half whatever. That way there is some kind of bloodline, but like you said, different mother, different father situation.
But you'd have to be a strong-blooded, because if you're a weak-blooded, it would be further back in your ancestry, and it would have to be shared.
Okay.
But if he's your biological brother,
biological half brother,
you would share the same mother, and she was just seduced at some point in time in a huge family scandal by some sort of fey being, or had an affair, or in some way maybe she was absconded with for fairy for 10 years and came back with a baby.
Puck, are you gonna hate me or be protective of me now?
No, I'm gonna play it a certain way. Don't worry, this is gonna be great.
Surprised.
Okay. So strong bloodline. What changeling is what you said? So that's
Strong-blooded changeling.
Means you get 3 glamours.
Yes.
strong changeling. Okay, cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, I've gone with the last name Goodfellow.
Okay. Do my last name?
Your last name.
Okay. Look, I always go.
You should do fellow good.
Well, no. Look, Puck is always my tag, right? So I went with Robin Goodfellow. Which, if you know the mythology of Puck, Robin Goodfellow is an alias of Puck.
Yeah. I don't know. With the aristocratic background, should I try to seek for a historically accurate name?
I'm not going to push it, but seriously, you can at least try to offset Robin Goodfellow.
Hey, that's an English
That's
name.
not, pursuits are next anyway, and then background. Okay, we're not even
Oh.
marrying it.
Can
And
I do
also-
Melissa's glamours real quick?
Glamours?
Oh yeah,
Glamours.
Okay.
Glamours.
Oh, because exchangeling. All right, let's figure out what glamours are. What's a glamour?
You
So,
get 3 of them.
you're glamorous.
Well, we'll come back and do these because you need to figure out what your guile trait is before you can choose your glamours.
Okay.
So let's move on and we'll come back. Pursuits. All right, this is your ideological slant in the clockwork. So, pursuit 1, ambition. Ambition is, I don't really care. I'm in this for myself, and I want to get what I want to get, and the chips are just going to fall where they may.
So it's where Kashano started.
Hold on. Where
The adventure.
where in the table is pursuit? Or what am I looking for?
Pursuit should be right up next to Bloodlines.
On yours, it'll just be a line.
Oh, got it. Under name. Okay, I went ahead though. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go.
So you have ambition. Then you have discovery. Discovery would be people who think that you can solve the problem of the Pontus through scientific research or
That's right.
alchemical research
That's it.
or exploring and understanding the secrets of the world, studying magic, studying something. It's kind of an academic understanding of what's going on and that solutions can be created thereby. Dominion is the third pursuit. Dominion is chaos is conquered by order, and order is the British Empire. If we want to conquer the Pontus, then we have to conquer the world. If we can get everyone to be under the dominion of the British Empire, then everyone will be under the dominion of the Clockmaker, and everyone will be forced to live in a world that will not allow the Pontus to abide.
I feel
You're
like that's
here.
Yeah.
Faith. Faith is more of people are made with intentional purposes. There's a plan for everyone. Faith is you need to find what people's plans are and let them do it. There's an intentionality to the clockmaker's design, and certain things in the clockwork are preventing people from being able to fulfill their true purpose, whether they are hierarchies or wealth disparity or people's own selfishness, bad life decisions. And so faith is basically going through and trying to help people find their true purpose, because if everyone followed their true purpose, then there would have never been a Pontus.
Wow.
Industry. Industry is about human advancement. It is about the advancement of technology. It is about the advancement of personal wealth, corporate wealth, societal wealth. It's like, like the Republican ideology of if you just raise up everyone's wealth, even the poor people get wealthy, even though the rich people get richer, kind of mentality. It is about
Magic.
What?
It's magic.
Pushing oneself to one's limits to acquire and achieve the most possible is the best way to find some sort of something that is going to put the Pontus in place. And the last one is freedom. And this is kind of the opposite of faith. This is, do you know who chooses my true perspective, my true role? It's not some divine plan. It's me. If everyone were just allowed to be what they were, then there would be no need for any of this. Unfortunately, in order to truly ascribe to freedom, we must tear down all these social structures. That's going to cause a lot of Pontus events. But in the end, everyone's going to be better off because we'll be creating a utopia from the ashes of what's left.
Oh my god. Fuck, if you pick freedom, that's perfect.
I already wrote it down.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I figured that was gonna happen.
Okay, I wrote down faith.
Freedom.
I mean, literally, there's one of the last line. Well, the last line of the first bit says, "I would sooner sing for pleasure than burn the world down with a bit of skin, wouldn't you?" I mean, listen, Sean, I'm not saying that you're typecasting yourself, but
I am. I have a thing. You got to play to your strengths.
I
That's
think he picked Dominion, is my guess.
I'm doing discovery. Because magic.
Yeah. Discovery, alchemy. Got it.
I will say that you can play against type. Those often makes interesting characters. But typically, Witchfinder cannons lean toward faith. Witchfinder stars lean toward dominion. And that is definitely the ideology of the orders that govern them. That doesn't necessarily have to be yours within them. But be aware that if you are a Witchfinder cannon, the people that you serve are about dominion. And the people who you serve as a cannon or star, dominion, cannon, faith. That's going to be the ideologies of the people that are pushing you.
Perfect. I wrote faith. All right, great.
You're already Irish, so.
My star
You're freedom.
is a loose cannon, so I'm going to go with freedom.
That's too many. That's too many of the word canon in this ad salon.
Yeah. And if you read the pursuit descriptions are actually first-person narratives about people's ideologies described by themselves. And I wrote them, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like that. I like that as a brother-sister dynamic because he's like, nah, man, I play by my own rules, and like his sister just wants to fit in because she's all
Leave.
Because she's been like.
Yeah. Because she's like part Fae and stuff, and she just wants to believe in the system. And he's like, nah, man, it's shit.
This makes me feel better that way. No,
I love this. I'm excited already. Okay, so what about? Are we on to backgrounds now?
We're on to backgrounds.
Okay,
background.
let's background us.
Makes my potential ether.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Don't.
I understand those words, but in that order, they don't make any sense.
If
Well,
you show,
It will.
let's go back and do the potential and ether all at once.
Okay.
Potential?
Potential is meta currency within the game. It's kind of your slant. There are two potentials in the game: purpose and ether. Purpose is how much your character leans toward fulfilling the purpose that was designed for you, and ether is your own ability to exert your free will over that purpose. So, depending on your choices, you end up with a balance. So, if you're pure blood, you lean a little bit toward purpose. If you're freedom, you lean a little bit more toward ether. If you're, dominion, you lean a little bit more toward purpose. And they're gonna give you points, and we'll calculate those when we're done. That way, they can hit you like a brick to the head as a surprise.
All right, faith is purpose then?
I'm sorry?
Is it faith is like basically purpose, or
Faith would give you a point of purpose.
okay. I'm slowly understanding this thing. Okay, cool.
Okay. Now, there are a bunch of backgrounds, and I'm just going to read them off and give you a very brief description. I'm not going to go into them unless you kind of think that they're suitable to your character. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. An agent. An agent is an ambassador or a political agent or a military agent or someone who is sent forth to do political machinations, bureaucratical espionage, that sort of thing. And it's kind of a generic background for all of those things. I should lead with this. Backgrounds are not what your character does. Backgrounds are how you were raised. So if you're a brother and sister, well, no, actually, if you were raised in Anoon in the land of the fairies and were brought back when you were 10.
Oh. I went missing? All right.
No, you can play it that way.
Okay.
You can play it that way if you want to. It's your character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you could have different backgrounds. But if you were raised in the same household, you should probably share the same background.
Okay.
It depends on whether you want to know him from birth or whether you were just kind of popped. Like, my mother went missing for 10 years, and all of a sudden she came back with a child, and no one's asking any questions because this is Britain.
Hi.
Half sister.
Half brother.
This boy is of my blood, and that is all you need to know.
Okay.
Ned Stark reference, anybody?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Oh, you actually had to read this again.
All right.
Second is clergy. Keep in mind that in England, since the 15th century, clergy were married, and so you had whole families. You could be the child of a clergyman. So if you were raised to be clergy, like people in England in the 19th century were like, I'm 8, I'm going to be a priest, and they just spent their whole life doing that. You could take it that way. Criminal, you were pretty much raised on the streets, scraping to survive. Gentry, you have other people that work for you, and you engage in pursuits of pleasure and have all sorts of accomplishments. Go to balls and, live like a Jane Austen.
That sounds like Gee. Sorry.
You're referencing these other shows. He doesn't know what you're talking about.
sorry.
The audience knows.
Karis is
Jane
here.
Austen?
Karis.
You don't know who Jane Austen is?
No, we're talking about. She referenced Gee.
Oh no, she was.
Yeah, we have a character.
She
that's
referenced a character in one of our.
like a party kind of character.
Gentry, if you were gonna do I was raised in a weird ass fairy realm background. Gentry would be very interesting because for you, it wouldn't be British gentry; it would be Fey gentry.
Write that down before I forget, just in case I go that route.
Laborer is here for completion's sake. If you want to be like a farmer that grew up to be the mighty adventurer, which is a kind of fairy tale archetype, laborer would be you were raised on a farm or doing day labor or as a navvy, the people that kind of travel around working on the railroads. A peer is you are landed nobility, or you were raised in the household of landed nobility. Like your father is, the Earl of Grantham or what have you.
Good reference.
Quick question: would there have been any landed nobility in the New World at this time, or would that all pretty much be back in the UK?
Because you couldn't own land in 1896 as landed nobility in America.
That makes sense.
Because you're 200 years after the revolution.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they might not take kindly to it. They might be upset.
We're an autonomous commune. That was a Monty Python.
Yes, of course.
Police. This would be if you serve as a police officer, if you were raised in a police family, or there are a couple of other different ways you could get this, depending on, make an argument. Professionals are the kind of elite common folk that are of high enough station that they can actually go to balls. They're not gentry. They work for a living, but they don't work with their hands. They work with their minds. And they're therefore seen as much more prestigious in British culture. These would be doctors and lawyers and magistrates, educated professionals of whatever ilk. Rogues are your kind of, Han Solo characters, and we're just going to go with that.
There you go.
Scientists, that should be obvious. Soldiers, again, should be obvious. And vagabonds are transients. Do keep in mind that this may or may not be where you are currently. You can be a police officer. You just take membership police, and you're a police officer. But you could have a background criminal.
Ha!
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go background professional.
Okay.
But she's a private investigator that doesn't get hired often because she's a woman, and so everybody's like, "Whoa."
Because sexism.
I would make the argument that a private investigator would actually be the police background.
I mean, I can do that. That's what I was gonna do originally, but
Because you wouldn't get the status that comes with professional. Because private investigators wouldn't be viewed with the same prestige as
well, especially not her, because
a college professor.
Melissa, what are you gonna pick for background?
No, I'm basing it off you. You are the older brother.
Okay, you're basing it off of me. I want to go.
Yep.
I want to go with professional.
Okay.
Really,
Professional what?
actually,
I don't know.
Professional dungeon master.
I'm gonna go with professional, like a marketeer. Like we come from a family that like big trading companies and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
Or like in finance. So yeah, like finance or industrialists. Or
Oh yeah, that's definitely a big opportunity. Just boss will. All right, go get that, and you're like,
Okay.
like okay,
my goodness.
professional.
Hold on. We're bringing out the supplementary book.
Oh,
What?
Ooh, the cabinet.
is.
There are a couple of extra backgrounds in here, and if you are interested, there is a background called Tycoon. And this basically means you didn't come from any sort of place that should have produced you, and yet you have achieved a great deal of wealth with your family, even though you don't have the station to back it up.
Sean looks like the kid in like 6th grade when it's like, just write your name on the paper. He's like,
All right, so he's got Tycoon. I'll put
Tycoon.
All right, and the Tycoon sister.
And I want us to be tycoons of the South Seas Trading Company.
I knew it.
I'm going to enjoy this so he's going to pull me in.
There's also a specific background called academic, which is kind of like a professional. If you were like a teacher, or like a college professor kind of character, or some sort of like obscure author.
If you wanted to
would
be
that be
Indiana
like-
Jones.
Yeah,
Would that
maybe.
be where like reporter and stuff like that would fall?
There's also a mistress background, which is not.
Oh, now I gotta
mistress
change.
would be like if you were, a governess or someone who ran a household.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Or,
Tycoon.
Sean.
Wow.
You can kill his character whenever you want.
Yeah, you can. If you want to do it now, you
Just
can
make
just
another one.
Well, there goes his sister's tragic backstory.
No, it's okay. I'm going with Tycoon. That's awesome. I'm all over it.
Okay. I'm going to give you the list of skill bonuses that you get for your various backgrounds now. So you just want to fill in a dot next to each of these skills as I read them to you. You got it?
Okay.
I'm going to do Tycoon first because it's from the supplementary book. So if you are a Tycoon, you get 1 bonus rank in academics, 1 in bureaucracy.
I hope I'm doing this right.
2 ranks in command, 1 rank in guile, 1 rank in parlay, 1 rank in vocation. Note somewhere that you will get 3 assets when we take time to choose assets, and you are class 1 means 3.
Class 1 means 3.
The top left of your character sheet.
Top left. Class 1.
Mm-hmm. Class is basically how society views you, and means is how much money you have to spend and how much like resources are at your disposal. Usually class and means are equal for most people, and if it's not, there's a problem. Like if you're a peer with class 4 means 2, you can't afford your lifestyle anymore, and you better find someone to marry that's going to bring some money into your family, or your whole family's going to fall into financial ruin.
Oh God.
You guys are the opposite of that. You're like, we're class 1. We have the social standing of like cobblers, but we have the money of landed gentry.
Oh, sweet.
I love this already.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sean's gonna complete. He's gonna show up with a couple
Especially
revolvers.
The
Yeah.
downfall of nobility in the late 19th century, where all of a sudden you are viewed as social upstarts.
I am the perfect representation of the downfall of nobility.
All right, Sarah, what did you choose?
Oh God! I went with what I say, police. Yeah.
All right, you get 2 bonuses to athletics. You have the book right in front of you. You probably
Yeah, I've already got it filled in. I'll be
Yes.
honest. Again, I know too much.
Koshano. What does that say? Koshano?
Yeah, Kashana.
Koshano.
Kashana
Where does it say that?
on Zoom.
On the thing, on the Zoom.
Oh,
On Zoom.
that's my
On
D&D
Zoom,
character.
on
Yeah.
Zoom,
Oh.
on Zoom.
What did you choose?
I'm going to be taking Pier.
Okay. Do you have the list of skill benefits that has in front of you?
I do. I will get a 4 in class, 3 in means, and I'll get academics, bureaucracy, composure, writing, and then command and refinement both times 2.
Yeah, and you get 1 asset.
1 asset.
Do keep in mind that Appear starts with class 3 or class 4 means 3, meaning if you do not spend at least 1 asset to boost your means, you are already in descent.
I don't think my character cares about that.
I feel like that's on par.
Okay.
But I'll consider it as we go through the rest of this. All
right.
I'm just broke and broke and broke.
There is a lot of advice in the book on building people from different backgrounds and different directions and what skills you can take to do it. We're just going to keep going.
Yep.
Okay.
Feel free and
Aptitudes.
Aptitudes.
all right, so we're doing this a little out of
Oh
order.
no.
So your bloodline gives you a couple bonuses to aptitudes. So we're going to give those now that we're actually assigning aptitudes and skills.
All right.
If you are pure blood, you get a 1 rank bonus to the will aptitude.
All right.
And you get a 1 rank bonus in any 2 skills of your choosing.
As pure blood, so a free mastery is a max out of 1 skill, correct? Or is the mastery separate from skills?
A mastery doesn't affect your skill level.
Okay.
It's just an ability that you get.
Okay.
If you are a changeling, you have to choose which background you are from. You can be from a trickster background, a brute background, or a fair folk background. Basically, are you descended from gremlins, trolls and ogres, or elves?
Elves, baby. Blood fair folk.
It's really tempting, the whole elf thing.
I'm
If
always
you're strong-blooded,
always an
it will
elf in
affect the
some
way you
form.
look.
Huh?
If you were descended from pixies, you might have like elevated features, high cheekbones, black eyes, weird ass stuff.
Oh,
If
there's
you're
different
descended-
options besides elves?
I'm
But there are no
Yeah.
elves in the game. There are Tuatha De Danann, which are what elves are based on.
I am fair folk. I got no eyebrow coloration, no lip coloration, and big old doe eyes. But I wear makeup, so you ain't never gonna see it. You ain't never gonna know.
That's funny. Shit. Oh god. I guess I'm gonna decide. I don't know. I'll decide. No, because then you have to do skills. Okay.
I'm going to read you the descriptions real quick. It'll
Yes,
give you a chance to think. All right.
Yes.
Tricksters are beings such as gremlins and pixies who survive in the clockwork through guile and mischief. Their descendants tend to manifest oddly colored skin, hair, horns, claws, fur, and many other features. Changelings of this lineage are descended from the cunning Fey folk, and they therefore excel at the skills of guile and stealth. Brutes are Fey folk like ogres and trolls who survive in the clockwork through strength and intimidation. Their descendants tend to manifest disproportionate bodies of great height or girth, glowing eyes, or fearsome features. Their size and visage make changelings of this lineage intimidating to strangers, but they can more easily carve a place among those of low places as they excel at skills like command and streetwise. Fair folk are the changelings with ancestors such as the She or the Tuatha De Danann, the ancient Fey invaders of the British Isles known for their beauty and cunning. Their descendants are beautiful but unnaturally tall, large eyes, and lack certain human characteristics like eyebrows or colorization of the lips. Descended from dignified and alluring Fey royalty, changelings from this lineage excel at skills of refinement and temptation.
Pixie. I'm going with Pixie.
Then you get guile and stealth.
Guile and stealth.
1 point of guile, 1 point of stealth.
Okay, so now it's a 2 in guile and 1 point in stealth.
Guile is going to be what a lot of your glamours are based on, so it's good to max that out.
Sweet. We're already off on a good start, I think.
Is everyone either a changeling or a pureblood?
think
Okay.
so.
I think unless
All right. Pursuits. For those of you who chose faith, you get 1 point of focus and 1 point of will.
1 point focus. You said for faith, right?
Yes. Focus and will.
Focus. Where's focus? Okay, focus and will. Gotcha.
Freedom will get grace and will.
ooh, I'm so graceful.
Sean, yeah, damn it. Without the same thing, I hate it.
What else we got?
Discovery.
Discovery will get focus and reason.
We're gonna use that.
Um,
All right. Is that everybody?
Nicely.
Okay, we're all caught up.
no, are we? No, I'm just doing
Now we're going to assign aptitudes. Okay, so in addition to your bonus from your bloodline, you should get one from your bloodline and 2 from your pursuit. You get 5 more ranks to put wherever you want. There's no maximum.
Already got it in there. Actually, I don't.
Wait, is this? Oh, this is for the the changeling.
The 6. No, that's it. Right. The 6. I'm sorry, Zeke. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna shut up.
6 aptitudes at the top. Think of these like attributes in D&D or abilities or whatever the heck they're calling them these days.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So you get 5 more ranks. It's grace and vigor, focus and reason, and presence and will.
Okay. So
Great.
we can
You
throw these 5 points.
ranks, whatever you want. I probably should tell you what they are.
Yeah. What are they exactly? Where am I tossing these points?
Grace is elegance of precision and movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be what you would use to dance or, fence, hit someone in the face with your fist,
Okay.
what have you.
Ooh.
Vigor is athleticism. It's your ability to run for long distances, take a beating, soak poison. Reason is your, it's basically your ability to think, parse out things. It's a lot of mental skills will be based on reason, logic, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Judgments. Focus is your mental acuity, including concentration and the use of the senses, perception, that sort of thing. Presence is your ability to exert social interactions, charisma, influence, your ability to interact with other people, and your kind of force of presence, so to speak.
Okay.
Will is willpower. It's
Okay.
your ability to stay your course in adverse situations.
So just to clarify, if I got this right, everything starts at rank 1. You can't have rank 0 on anything.
That is correct. Everything starts at rank 1.
And then you get 2 from your pursuit, and then 1 from your bloodline, and then you get to add 5 more points however you want.
That is correct.
And will is what I will use for my ritual magic, correct?
Will is what magic is based on.
Okay.
Presence is what glamours are based on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be real bad at everything else.
Zeke, I'm open to your recommendation.
So, if you're going to be, you have a lot of glamours at your disposal.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to want presence. That's your force of will, how likely people are to notice you when you walk into a room, how easily you convince people of things.
Okay.
Especially if you're a trickster, you want
Okay.
presence. That's going to be all of your social attacks. So that's important. Will is your ability to resist social attacks.
Oh, that's important too.
So, I mean, you can make a glass cannon if you want to, but, you don't, you want at least a 2, like at least in will. Unless you want to play someone who's incredibly engaging and flighty.
Okay, so 3 points. in
Lilith.
presence, and the that wasn't intentional. So I just went in this direction.
I just wanted to point it out, just in case you weren't aware. It's okay as long as you know.
For your character, your presence and will are most important, but just keep in mind that anything else that falls too low, is going to be difficult to compensate for. So.
Oh shit. Okay, so oh god, now I have intelligence, grace, and vigor at nothing. Okay, hold on.
Well, you get 1 point.
Everything should be.
Everything's 1 point. Oh, okay.
Everything's at least.
Oh, okay.
You start with at least baseline.
This is a scale of 1
you
to
know
5.
how to walk. Like
You can actually take a disadvantage to be crippled in some way, and it reduces a 1 point rank to 0, which in the Victorian age is detrimental because there's social stigma that goes along with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, now I'm scared.
We do not support that in the modern
I remember
age.
looking at that liability. There's a chart.
Okay, so make sure I did this right. I got Grace 2, Vigor 2, Reason 2, Focus 3, Presence 3, Will 2.
You're so balanced.
You are very balanced. You should have 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. You should have 14 ranks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Okay. I might have to ask if I'm doing this right.
Okay, I did it correctly. I have 14.
14's the points in total?
Yeah, if you don't have 14 ranks when you're done, you've done something wrong.
Okay, clearly I've done something wrong. Okay.
How many do you have?
Shocker.
I have
Start
all
with
the
1 in
ranks.
everything, and then you get 1 for your bloodline, 2 for your pursuit, and then you add 5 to whatever you want.
Yeah, I got 1 grace, 2 vigor, 2 reason, 2 focus, 3 presence, and 4 will.
That's a slightly slanted character, but very playable.
I got 5 reason, 3 focus, 3 will, and 1 of everything else.
Are you freaking kidding me? Wait,
Let him roll with it, man.
No, it'll be fine. He'll be
5
fine.
reason, 3 focus, 3 will, and 1 of everything else.
Okay,
This is what he does. This is what he thrives on.
I want to warn you about this in terms of you can get away with that in D&D and why this will be very detrimental in Clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone in combat is like, I'm going to distract you, and it's a social attack, actually, you heavily did mental. You don't have very good social or physical stats.
I was planning to take gullible as
we talked about that, and I was like, please take gullible because.
Okay, as long as you know what you're getting into.
So it's going to be in the middle of social combat, and somebody's going to be like, look at this
Everyone
new
in my
invention.
NPCs is going to be making morale attacks against you.
I got 3 presents. I'm gonna make you do all kinds of shit.
Oh, I'm already there to follow you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta flip to my next page. I have, Zeke, I have 3 pages of notes here as I went through before and reread again before we did this. Please do not judge me.
I'm not judging you.
It is your fault, actually.
I spent 5 years of my life writing this, so seriously.
Yeah. It's really your fault. You only have yourself to blame. Because you created something that I'm obsessed with.
Okay.
I think I got this.
And then we go to skills. Got so many points.
Got
does-
all.
Does this
12 more freaking points.
12 more points in skills. You
Okay.
cannot start with a skill above 3.
Wait, what now? Did we move on?
Yeah, we're moving down to skills.
Oh, okay.
It's just the next part down where
Okay.
there's a much longer list.
Okay.
You get the skills from your background, you get the skills from your bloodline, and then you get 12 more points.
Oh boy.
Sean.
You cannot have a skill of more than 3 as a starting character.
Can I go ahead? I'm already planning to take expertise, so can I go ahead and just go ahead and put my mysteries in?
I wasn't going to get there until we got there, but yes, of course you
I am just
can. You're playing ahead of the curve.
What curve?
I don't even see the curve
I'm
anymore.
on a straight
So-
train out of stone.
Purebloods believe or receive 1 rank bonus to any 2 skills. Okay. Yeah. And then
And-
12 more ranks, you said?
You're gonna have to hold my hand for this. Hold on.
And that doesn't.
So we already went over the other skills that you should be put in. So now you're just adding 12 dots to the sheet.
You
that-
want to put 3 into Guile, most definitely.
Yeah.
So whatever you have in Guile, add ranks into it until you have 3. And you want to make a little hash mark that you spent it, so you know how many of your 12 you put down already.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, this makes more sense. I was looking at the wrong stuff.
Okay.
And I also need to do 3 in Guile.
I really recommend, as a social character, to choose a social combative skill. For you, I'm just going to look this up so I'm not skipping anything.
John. You don't have any that are more than 3, right? That's
No, I don't have any that are more than 3. I do have 3 that are at 3, though.
This is all.
They're command, tactics, firearms.
Yes. I'm a good
Was I reason or focus
my
naturally?
investigation.
I fucked up somewhere.
What happened?
The natural aptitude. Which I know I had naturally a 1 in will and naturally a 1 in somewhere else. I think it was either focus or reason. I'm trying to organize it. That's
Oh,
what's there, you
your,
guys.
From your pursuit?
Mm,
I'll look it up real quick for you.
thank you.
So mine is
Focus and will.
Let's see. It's
Focus. Okay, focus and will. Got it. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Page 234 is what I need real quick. Yeah, will and mysteries.
Okay, this.
Oh.
Okay, got a plan. Got a plan.
For a social character, there are a couple of skills that you use in social combat, and they are Guile, Command, Parlay, and Temptation.
Guile, command, parlay. There you are, and temptation.
Yeah, you don't need all of them, but you kind of want at least one of them.
Okay.
You have Guile, and if all you're going to do the entire game is lie to people, you don't need anything else. But if you want to, I don't know,
Tell the
haggle
truth every now and then.
negotiate, Parlay might be useful. If you would like to use people's darker instincts against them, Temptation might be useful.
That sounds fun.
I want to boss
If you
people
wanna
around.
boss people around, Command is always good.
Good.
Sean, this is all sounding real on par, buddy.
All right, you got
If-
command. All right, sweet. Shit. Okay.
I've got 3 in command, firearms, and tactics.
Oh, that's
Then
Actually,
I have 2 in writing and investigation. And then I got 1 academics, 1 bureaucracy, 1 composure, 1 parlay, 1 guile, and 1 vocation.
I'm taking 1 in engineering for reasons.
What's guile again?
It's like lying.
Being a liar. All right.
Yeah.
Tricking people.
Being a charlatan.
Oh, shut
Or
up.
Faye, it comes naturally to you.
Yeah. No family of mine.
Okay. Okay.
Also 1 in bureaucracy so that I can use people's
You're a
status
tycoon.
against
You're
them.
lying about being a nobleman. That's what your whole family does.
And I don't care enough to call you on it, so I'm just going with it.
Yeah, you don't know the difference.
I assume, Jonathan, I just want to clear. Did you go all science, academics, engineering, everything?
I actually went kind of low on the academics because the idea is that it didn't really fit in with the academics class. I've only got the 1 point that I automatically get, but yeah, I got science and engineering. And then I took a couple points in medicine because I mentioned his dabbling in human alchemy. And then, just a few things that I've picked up from hanging out with these guys, like a point in firearms, a point in melee.
I will say that academics is before you throw more points on me, give out a couple of big ones. You need at least one rank of academics if you went to public school.
Oh, I have one rank though. Yeah.
What's location? Oh, sorry.
Actually, no, I would have gone to private school, so I probably need 2 there.
If you don't have any academics, it means you're not literate.
Yeah.
If you have 3 points of academics, you're literate in Latin. Because that's just how you
Okay, so academics is more just like the amount of education you've had, not so much the academic culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
but I mean,
all right, let me do some shuffling.
the other big one, especially Melissa for your social character, and for anyone that wants to do anything in high society, is refinement.
I was going to ask you about that one too. What is that?
Refinement is a mixture of etiquette and your ability to appear and act in society. It's everything from knowing which fork to use when you're eating, to know what title to address people with,
Okay.
to knowing how to walk into a room, or knowing what order of precedent is. I mean, if you try to interact in high society without refinement, you will be crushed.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh dear.
The other one that I would recommend to all of you is mysteries. You need at least one rank in mysteries to participate in magical rituals to help people who are casting magic.
You get no help from me.
But basically, you guys are witch finders. If you have no mysteries, you basically are flying by the seat of your pants.
That sounds like Sean, though.
If you are
one in mystery, then
you probably want at least 1 point in mysteries. If you're a canon, you can probably get away
I got 4 points in mysteries.
with it. We'll get into how she acquired 4 points.
I got 4 points in will and 4 points. So, like, I got 8 from the jump for my rituals.
Robin Goodfellow does not require mysteries because that implies that there are things that he does not know. That is impossible.
Zeke's face.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm
This
so
is
sorry.
What the heck?
Well, you're right. You're not a bunch of wandering murder hobos.
No, that's definitely not what we're about.
I don't think I've ever made a character that was a murder. And I've made straight up goons, but they were like so dumb.
Another thing, streetwise, if you play a character that wants to know how to get information from the lower quarters, I'm not sure that applies to any of you, but it is handy and investigative.
Well, see, I've already got streetwise because of my policeness.
There you go.
My logic was I could get streetwise, but I already have command, so I'll just order people to tell me things.
High command and low refinement. Man, you really are coming across as nouveau riche. That's you do not want to let him be the spokesperson in high society situations. That would just...
But he's also, you don't want him to be, but he's also the guy that just does it.
Okay.
And you're like, I knew, wait, and then it's already happened, and it's too late. And then
Well, you might have to be the one who takes the lead on this, or I have a handler.
Oh my god, I'm scared to be your sister.
Melissa,
You are the social
signed
character.
yourself
You're going to be
up.
cleaning
I
up
am
after.
so long. Yeah, I have to keep like
Another
putting
point
the
to
corner.
spend.
I don't know.
I really, I know I should, but I don't want to take a point in firearms, but I know I should, so I'm going
Want to
to.
take what?
A point in firearms.
You don't need to.
I like this story idea that it was like he's gone through so many cannons at this point. Like they've just been assigned to him to just keep quitting. And eventually it's like, okay, this is your sister.
Yeah. If you make your sister quit, you're fired.
Yeah,
That's-
because of the shenanigans, I put more points in stealth in case I just need to sneak away from him. She's like, oh god, this is it.
If you
This
haven't
is it.
noticed, Zeke, we are a very roleplay heavy
No, we
channel.
really are.
We've
This game is
already got
designed for you.
we've already got stuff happening and we haven't even finished making characters.
It just might surprise you that the mechanics of this game actually lean toward role playing, and so
Well, I played it, so it's not
heavily
gonna surprise
slanted
me.
characters may suffer some consequences. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, I know. I'm doing what I must.
So,
Be who I am.
has everyone assigned all 12 ranks of skills?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and fret not if you make sure that you send me a PDF of your character sheet, just scan it and send it to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be like, this will not work.
I
You need
don't
to do that.
know if So is there a set number of skills total that you should have, or will it depend on your background?
It will depend on your background.
You are fundamentally broken in every way.
As long as you chose a background that kind of suits at least somewhat what you want your character to be, your character can't really fail.
Okay.
But
I accept your challenge.
I have mysteries of 4 and guile of 3 and investigation of 3. So for an investigative reporter, like, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Sean, you said you got command, firearms, and.
I have 3 in command, firearms, and tactics.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, you're definitely gonna be the the tank. Gotcha. That's good. Good.
You're going to want to read the rules for tactics because they are powerful if you
Ooh.
use it properly.
Oh, excellent.
They allow you
Awesome.
to manipulate initiative cards.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have the tough big brother. This is
And
awesome.
well, you know what? I'm gonna do this thing.
Okay. We're moving to assets and liabilities.
Excellent. I have a little sister liability. Little sister.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I'm going to read off the most commonly chosen ones, and you can tell me if any of these seem interesting to you. And if you are interested in them, I will read more. But, for time reasons, I'm just not going to delve too terribly much.
All right.
Some of these are specific to a bloodline, so if none of you are playing that bloodline, I'm not going to get into it. Alchemical reaction. So I recommend that you start with transmutation because it is kind of fundamental to alchemy. That being said, if you want to play a corner case character that does other stuff and doesn't do transmutation, you can have at it, but I don't recommend it.
Transmutation was what I was going for.
And you can take more if you want.
Very cool.
But each transmutation, each alchemical reaction that you take is an asset.
Okay.
Charisms, if you want to take one of those gifts from the clockmaker, that is an asset. And we can go over which ones you can choose. Only purebloods can take charisms.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're not a pureblood, then the clockwork just doesn't turn in your favor.
Yeah, it doesn't want you.
Dangerous friends. I believe this is the asset that means you have friends from lowly places that helped you get where you are, and occasionally you can call on them to rough people up.
And really quick,
Dangerous friends.
And
No.
as a refresher, what does how many assets do, or what determines how many assets character gets?
Oh, your background.
Your
I believe I told you that, but you chose your background.
I think you get one.
No, I'm just for
Think
people
I
who are
missed
following
it.
along at home. I get one.
Yeah,
Oh.
Melissa, we have 3
We have 3 and what now?
assets.
3 assets.
3 assets of your choosing.
Oh, sweet. Should we just have an army of underlings?
I'm going with dangerous friends first asset.
Oh,
Sold.
That'll be my second choice because it's almost going to be unwilling.
Oh my
I'm curious to hear the rest.
You can take dangerous friends multiple times if you want to increase the threat rating.
That's like Sean's like, this is all I got, man. I just got some friends that come and do
Dangerous
some
friends 3.
I'm
This
so
nobleman is not doing what I want him to do.
I can take magical world. What it?
Hey, Tulsa, you want me to bring the boys out? Is that it? Get all the boys together. We're going to have a right routing.
I'm going to get dangerous friends, but you'll be the big brother that steals all my friends at the end and be like, all
I-
right, you're my friend.
I am the danger nugget.
So I get to. So like I get one asset with my background and I'm taking alchemic reaction and there's the different reactions. So I get to choose one reaction that I can create, or are these different activities that happen within taking it?
You take one reaction, which I recommend transmutation.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to do liabilities first? Because if you choose a liability, you get extra assets.
Gotcha.
Let's do that.
All right.
So this is my favorite part of making a character.
Do
is
keep in mind that if you are
how
from
fucked up you can make
you
them.
must spend an asset on membership in the Witchfinder organization.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
one
number
asset
two.
on dangerous friends, another asset on membership. What's the list for assets again?
You're
Well, we're
taking
gonna do liabilities.
We're gonna do liabilities first.
Oh, I'm already writing shit. Oops. Okay.
It's okay. I got 2 too, so we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because yeah, boy. I'm
Okay.
taking that Pontus infection.
affliction, which I normally wouldn't read, but it seems like one of you may want to do this. You basically suffer a weakness that hobbles you. If you have a aptitude with a rank of 1, you can reduce it to 0.
Oh shit.
If it's grace, you have a crippled or paralyzed limb. If it's vigor, you have an extreme ill health or weakness. Reason, you have cognitive impairment. Focus means you have blindness or deafness. Presence means that you have some sort of visible defect that causes you to be shunned in society.
Oh.
And will means that you have incredibly poor impulse control.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
I love that you paused right before you read it.
Do keep in mind that having a 0 and an asset has other problems. Like if you have a focus of 0, you have no guard.
Oh god.
I don't.
If you have having an asset of less than 2 or an attribute less than 2 typically causes problems. Having an asset of 0 is an aptitude of 0 is very difficult.
I don't think I'll go with that one because then he's basically Archer.
Damn.
Bad reputation.
That one I might take.
I was pausing on that one for you.
Yeah. That's
Bad
better if you.
blackmailed. Déclassé, which means your class reduces by 1 because of some sort of terrible thing that happened to your family.
Oh god.
Faint-hearted. Physical danger throws you off balance. There's all sorts of mechanical issues.
Oh my God.
Gullible.
Yep.
So.
Haunted. You basically have a shade of someone that kind of follows you around and, haunts you.
Oh, stalker.
See,
Sean, I can hear you now being like, this guy Cookie won't leave me alone, right?
See, no, I want to play it like that, but I don't really have the thing, and I just think that Dipper is haunting me. It's not actually right. This little girl follows me everywhere I go. You can see it too, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna go with bad reputation for sure. What else we got?
Zeke, I'm so sorry.
Ill luck. Meddlesome parent is a changeling only asset or liability rather, and it means that your changeling parent is meddling in your life and affairs in a very overprotective and inconvenient way.
Okay, we'll just kill him. There's no more. Get rid of the liability. It's fixable.
Well, I mean, if you take that, like every time, it should be the dad, and every time your Fey dad shows up, you're not my real dad.
Okay, we're just getting to the good stuff here.
Yeah, we'll figure this whole meddling.
There's so much stuff. There's so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nemesis.
Oh god, that would work with Tycoon. Shit.
Oh man, I feel like I could take a nemesis. I'll think about it.
It was that guy in school that was always trying to steal your ideas.
He did steal my ideas, and then he got kicked out.
A nemesis is a threat 3 narrator character with a rank 4 affinity for seeing your character's life come to ruin.
Wheaton. Okay. Let's go.
Oh, I think I gotta kind of take this one. Okay, so how many?
A rank
Is there a limit to how many?
Is like intense. Okay, you need to understand.
At the narrator's discretion, normally it's 1 or 2. I'll let you guys take 2. If you really have a character that comes together with 3, we can talk about it. But I don't want you doing that thing like when you play GURPS. You're like, I took 130 points of disadvantages, and now I have a firearm skill of 92.
I feel like Nemesis and Gullible really tied my backstory together. So
I think that, yeah. Obsession. There's Nephilim only. If you're a changeling, you can take obviously inhuman.
Oh.
Those afflicted with this liability are indelibly marked as inhuman and shunned even in liberal societies. Although not necessarily ugly, your features and presentation mark you as something outside the normal order of things. No matter the care of obfuscations that you employ, any trickery short of supernatural illusions is incapable of hiding your inhuman nature. Anyone seeing you will treat you with fear or disdain at best, or possibly hostility at worst. You always suffer a -1 penalty to esteem in addition to all other penalties imposed by your bloodline.
Maybe I should boost my temptation higher.
See, that doesn't really work with my whole stick.
No.
I'd be trying to look human, trying to look pure blood.
I think meddling.
Nobody has a means of 0, right?
No.
No.
I don't.
Okay. Pontus infection.
Boom.
You basically have points of corruption that you
I
can
know. I got 2 points of
Versus-
corruption.
ever.
Got 2 points of corruption.
Sacred vows. These would be things that you would take if you were clergy or members of some sort of religious or order of some sort. I don't even know.
The canon?
If you were a clergy person, then you would take it.
Oh, never mind.
Social climber. That's when you start to be seen as someone who's escalating the ranks in a kind of offensive way.
Shit.
People will refer to you as lowborn or ill-bred behind your back. Even those from the lower class you left behind don't treat you with the same deference they would natural members of your current social rank.
That's a good one too. Oh, shit.
The next one is so Sean. I can't wait.
You said.
Troublesome ward. You have someone that you are going to take care of that is very difficult to take care of.
See, I almost feel like she should have that for me.
That's what I meant. Like you're the trouble.
Okay. It was troublesome. What now?
Troublesome ward.
All
You
right.
can't
I got.
take it for a player character.
Aw. You can't take it for a player.
Dang. He just has to be annoying without you getting anything for it.
Okay, never mind then.
But if you want something really, really, really weird, one of
Cabinet of Curiosities is coming.
Expander. No.
Oh no, that. I want that so bad.
Island Spirits. There's a great asset in here that is cool for someone who might have come back from the land of the Fae. Let me come across it. It is there are extra glamours in here too, if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Bye, brother. I'm going on vacation for a while.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, these are options. These are nice options.
Imaginary friend.
I haven't imagined that.
You have always had a very vivid imagination and a rich inner life, although others may dismiss you as proclivities, as daydreams and flights of fantasies, as foolishness or frippery. Victorian words. It has often brought you joy. It has often made you the perfect tether for a weak fey spirit that found its way into the clockwork, becoming the incarnation of your imaginary friend. So basically how fey enter the clockwork is they find things that are believed in that don't really exist and they become those things. You believed in your imaginary friend and a fey spirit said, I will become that.
My brother. No I'm kidding.
Now follows you.
You're the Fae. He's not even Fae. You're the Fae.
Yes. It should be just she just feels like her big brother doesn't listen to her at all. She developed this imaginary friend, and every time you talk to her, it's just flippery. She's going mad again.
Moving on. Okay.
One option.
Assets. For every you get the number of assets given to you by your background. For every liability that you chose, you get an additional asset.
Okay.
I took expertise and magical word 3 times.
Okay. You can take eager. Eager characters get bonuses to initiative cards. You can take estate. Through inheritance or shrewd investment, you own a property that would normally benefit an owner of one means rank higher than you have. That would be like, I am class 2 means 2, but I own a manor home. Or I am class 3 means 3, but I have a castle.
Oh, so it doesn't actually take your means higher.
Well, there is an asset that does that.
Okay, I'll keep listening.
Ever ready? The first time you take a turn in physical combat, you may choose to replace your move with a maneuver. That just gives you more versatility in your first round of combat. Expertise, that will allow you to take any skill that you have at 3 and take it to 4. Faultless reputation. Favored is the clockwork likes you even more than a normal pureblood, and you can get additional purpose for use. You can take more glamours if you're a changeling for every asset that you spend. So if you want additional glamours that you can use. Good repute. You'll get additional reputations when we do reputations. A grimoire is access to magical rituals that have been written by other people that you can use. Higher class. This would boost your class by 1. Inventor. That is if you want to start doing tinkering and item creation. Library is for research purposes. Magical word is for casting magic. Mechanical marvel is if you would like, you don't want to be a tinkerer or an item creator, but you want one really cool clockwork thing, like an automaton that follows you around or something. Membership. Again, you need to take at least 1 rank in membership if you are an official member of the Witchfinders as a canon or a star. Polyglot means that you can speak a lot of different languages. Do keep in mind, in this game, if you speak a language, you can pretty much talk in all other languages within its language group. So if you speak Latin, you can speak Spanish, but you can't do social combat very well in Spanish, and you will receive penalties to social combat if you're trying to convince someone in a language you don't speak thoroughly. Polyglot allows you to speak tons of languages, which can be useful. Prized possession means you have something that is an object that's worth more than you would otherwise be able to get with your means, but it came to you via inheritance or something. Skilled. This just gives you more skill points, but you're still limited to having a cap of 3. Sympathetic reaction. This is the opposite of inhuman visage. The sympathetic reaction means you do look inhuman, but you look inhuman in a way that others find endearing. Do you want me to read that?
Yes, please.
Although marked by your unnatural bloodline, the way you carry yourself in spite of your origins is a testament to your strength of spirit and inherent determination. Such poise is noticeable to others, and there are times when it softens or even overcomes the social stigma you usually suffer. At the beginning of any scene, you may test presence plus composure against a difficulty equal to the tenor of the scene. If successful, the automatic esteem penalty you would usually suffer is lessened by 1.
All right, I wrote that down just for an in case situation. I need more room. All right, cool. Thank you.
Title. This would be like if you were knighted or had some sort of perk that's above and beyond your station. Touched. To be touched means you're a pureblood, but there's some sort of weak Fae lineage way back when, or you were exposed to the Fae in some sort of strange way that left you with the use of a glamour.
Oh, story.
Well off increases your means by 1, and workshop.
I kind of feel like it's more fun if my family's in decline, so I don't know if I want to take that, if I want to even out those means.
Well, look, I want to get a state, straight up. So, do we need 2 houses?
I almost feel like if my family wasn't in decline, like somebody would have stopped me from being hauled off into the Witchfinders.
Also, I want Nemesis for sure.
I don't know. I'll take your input on this, Zeke.
Sean, you gotta pick, man. I think I'm gonna do, instead of magical word 3 times, I think I'm gonna do magical word twice and grimoire.
This is under acid.
Given what I've presented so far, is having a means 1 rank lower than my class, putting my family in decline, does it seem to make sense for the character, or should I even that out?
It could be a reason for you to be pursuing other interests.
That's what I'm thinking. Or more so even a reason why nobody stopped me from pursuing other interests.
Also true.
You're jumping ship.
So, okay.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'll stick with that.
I want to go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think we found a loophole. If we're being family members, if I go with extra point in class, does he get 1 additional?
I would find some way to make it so that, there are ways for you to have higher class than your family members.
Yeah, it could be that you're just, I don't fit in with the upper class that you do.
Maybe because you were different and Faye, they were like, well, she's clearly the chosen one.
She's an oddity.
Forget this kid.
Okay,
Instead of her disappearing because she didn't go with that route, it would be, yes, her mother did have an affair with the Duke of Manchester. She is his heiress.
Oh,
shit.
But he is a strong-blooded Fae.
Ah.
And so she is hiding the fact that she's a bastard child is, just impossible. And she doesn't have any other children. So
for liabilities, I want to go with Nemesis because I love the idea of me having a tycoon nemesis. But for the second one, I don't know if I should go with bad reputation or social climber.
Well, you can sit on that while we talk about what reputations are, and then you can make your choice.
Sure.
Okay.
I just want to say I realized that I obviously have to take expertise so that I can get my science to 4 so that I can do explosive reactions.
Well,
because how can we not have explosive reactions in this game, guys? Come on.
Are you pure blood, boy?
Yeah.
Pure blood.
in keeping with the theme of the decline of nobility, I've gone with estate. So I am a new money tycoon that has bought up a castle estate belonging to a defunct noble family.
Hey, that's fine.
I want it to be your family's house. Can it be his family's house?
It's our summer estate. We had to sell
It's
it.
based on means, not station. So you are literally a class 1 individual.
Yeah.
It's like being a carpenter. You
Yeah.
live in a
Yeah. I want it to be his family's castle.
We had to downscale to a more. It was one of our it was our ancestral home. We didn't really live there anymore, but Saw
Comes
how
by
you got
like
it.
the family crest is chopped up into sections, sitting by the fireplace.
Oh my goodness.
I frankly could not give a shit, but my family's real pissed that I'm hanging out with you now.
It should be a reveal. Like I shouldn't know about it.
It's too late. We're already live, bro.
Yeah, no. Well, okay, we'll figure it out later. I'm not in character yet.
So, we're gonna go with affinities. These are on the left side of your character sheet. You'll notice a little place that says affinities. You have to have at least 2, and you distribute 3 ranks. So you can have a 2-rank affinity and a 1-rank affinity, or 3 1-rank affinities, basically, when you start the game. An affinity is what you love. They're things that you care for, and they can be used as social weapons against you or social armor to protect you. If I have an affinity for blondes and one tried to seduce me, that would be a weapon against me in that social combat. But I have an affinity for my wife, so in that same social combat, I could use that as armor. And they operate in social combat. Weapons and armor are exactly the same as weapons and armor, the way that they're used in physical combat. So these are highly useful in the social aspect of the game. If you choose them, they kind of become a little double-edged, but they're more favorable than not.
Mhm.
If you choose a rank of 1, you have a fondness for something. If you choose a rank of 2, it's a love.
And this is an open-ended sort of spot, right?
You can choose to name it whatever you want. If you would like me to give you some affinity examples, I'm happy to read some to you.
There's some conveniently provided in the box.
In the
right
box.
there. Everything has a convenient box in this whole book, guys. You should get this book.
There's so many boxes. I'm kind of using one, but not. I'm doing regain my status.
So, to be clear, you can make the affinity a thing, just whatever, and you can make the number of that affinity as high as you want.
1 or 2 to start.
1 or 2.
One or two to start. Okay.
Because you have 3 ranks, it has to be at least 2 different.
I'm going to give you a couple of examples. They can be duties. Dedicated brother of the Franciscan Order. God, Queen, and Country. Captain of the ship Serenity. Protect Annabelle with my life. Or sworn servant of Lady Witchcraft. They can be goals. Become as rich as I am clever. Find Rebecca no matter what. Ireland will be free. Master the secrets of alchemy. Or restore the honor of my family name. They can be people or relationships. As the East India Club rises, so shall the Athenaeum fall. Or Kabar, that's Gaelic, I can't read that. I'm an insult to my Irish ancestry. See my enemies brought low. Provide a better life for my children. Or behavior. Beauty is all that matters. Chase the next horizon. Eat, drink, and be merry. Gambling is an honest trade. Or in vino veritas.
So I think I definitely have to take 2 points towards a goal of quantifying the Pontus.
Sure.
What about protecting animals?
Sure.
Cool.
Mine literally are regain my status and contain my secret.
I am now an animal activist.
Mine are.
Okay.
I have an affinity 2 for business deals. And I have affinity 1 for protecting my sister.
Aww. You're gonna have to watch out for me, because if I'm going with the upper crust, I haven't decided yet. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are gonna be wearing like fur coats, and I might just go PETA on them.
I have a question regarding the character sheet on some of the different things, like in the affinities, reputations, potential status. At least on the fillable one I'm looking at, there's a box and then the 4 dots or the 5 dots. Can you explain the purpose of that box?
The dots are your temporary rank, and your circle is your permanent rank.
Okay.
So write the number and fill in the dots, but you can take damage to infinities.
Got it.
Like if you have an affinities toward protecting animals, and you're sitting in a room and the Duchess of Devonshire is wearing a gigantic fur coat made of thousands of ermines, but you realize you have to keep your stupid mouth shut if you want her to give you lots of money to be able to fund an environment, your affinity will take damage. You've just gone against your core interests in love for your own personal benefit, and the affinity will suffer because of it.
Dun dun dun.
Well, this is gonna be interesting.
Just listen, man.
Maybe I should change that too.
Everything. Listen at her. She's like, maybe I should.
I'm gonna lessen my.
Everything in this game can hurt you, even you.
It's like Australia. It's the Australia of roleplaying.
I feel like it's gonna be more damage to animals and then benefiting me.
Everything can hurt you, including you.
Okay, this is even better because I've actually done some looking up on my on the origin of my last name now, which is something I've never really looked into. And a fellow representative of a trading company, as an example of a large group of European surnames.
Well, there you go.
All right.
I mean, it's right there.
I guess would it make sense to just say I also have a general affinity for scientists? Anyone else who's practicing anything?
Choose something interesting. Maybe you like
go left field with it,
or choose something that fleshes out your character.
Yeah, good point. Okay.
And I also like.
You
can make it snazzy. Like, Jonathan, instead of business deals, you can say, I never let go of money I don't have to. Something like that. You can add a little snazziness to your affinities to make them a little bit more character driven.
Actually, I'm going to choose something that almost might seem to run contrary. I have an affinity for children in general.
I think that's a great idea.
That's
what affinities can do is they can really flesh out your character and give you personality.
I love children, and it fits in with everything else because children are curious and not tainted.
Much.
They don't have stupid ideas yet.
No, they some of them can just be. Oh boy.
Yes, I will always choose a child over an adult.
So we can pick 2 affinities.
2 affinities, one at rank 1, one at rank 2. You can pick 3 at rank 1 if you want. You get 3 ranks.
All right, I'm just gonna add the protect big brother.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say that affinity for children is just gonna generally fit in. I'm gonna choose something real weirdly specific here. I have an affinity for gloves.
Just
Oh
specifically,
my God. I'm gonna be
gloves.
ripping your gloves off all the time. Give it a.
It kind of fits with the mad scientist. Need
You
gloves.
know what? I'll change the wording of my first one. Instead of business deals, he has an affinity for lucrative acquisitions. So, like, if he sees something that there's a chance that he could make money off of it, he's super into it.
So I'm gonna do 3 rank 1s. I'm not gonna publicly announce the 3rd one. You'll see it when I you
Pulling off gloves and ruining business deals.
Yeah, right.
At the same time.
Slapping people with gloves in the course of business deals.
You can only do it at the same time. If you
Sitting
just do
gloves
one,
on fire.
it doesn't give you the buzz.
Okay. We have one more important step.
Okay.
And it should be the next thing down from affinities. And you get, much like affinities, you get 3 ranks of reputations. You have to choose at least 2. So you can choose, again, a 1 rank and a 2 rank, or 3 1 ranks. And these are what you're known for. The level of the reputation, 1 or 2, defines how broadly and how well you are known for this. Reputations can be tested to see if people know you. They can also be used against you. And
no. Continue, sorry.
there's a social combat system in the game where you can actually destroy people's reputations and replace them with negative ones.
Yeah.
I have never seen a player smile like that.
I'm so ready.
I know that one of mine is gonna be never leaves the case unsolved.
So we're trying to get positive things here.
I mean,
you
that
want positive reputations. Negative reputations you can take as a liability.
So yeah, so now that we're talking about reputations, if I took bad reputation, what would that entail?
You would have a 2-point negative reputation that cannot be undone
Okay.
through normal circumstances.
I can't. help
Everyone,
but-
and it would come up all the time.
Oh
Okay.
God.
Okay.
Maybe,
So this-
maybe I'll stick with social climber.
I can totally as we climb, I lower other people. So maybe I'll sacrifice stealth and put more in guile and be more of a liar.
So is there any need to like balance it with the other things you chose? Like I already took gullible. Is it gonna be something where like would I take gullible as a negative reputation, or is it just everybody who knows me knows that already? So it's, you get what I'm asking? I'm not wording well to it.
I'm sorry, I was reading something in the book and I should have been paying attention.
No worries. So you say you can take negative reputations as a liability.
It's a
Or is it
bad
just-
liability called bad reputation.
Okay, so that's just what that is.
Yeah.
So there's no need to take negative reputations that fall in line with other traits because they're separate. Those things.
No, they
Those
all.
will bite you in the ass on their own.
No,
yeah,
but
you
yeah, they'll
seriously,
get
you
you
do not
separately.
need to double dip in terms of things destroying you.
Okay. Whoever.
You don't need to stack how you're fundamentally broken as a person.
I don't want my other one to be. I mean, I have ideas, but
I know you have a very good character concept. I just want to let you know that this game was designed from the ground up to destroy horribly unbalanced characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
not
I
going
know.
to stop any of the people that you're speaking to right now.
I'm
That's-
just being fair. Just
I kind of part of it. I wanted to do the because are we doing this in London?
we're going to be doing this in the outskirts of London. Most of the adventures take place in and around London, but you're kind of outside the city proper.
Okay, I really wanted to do a reputation as the least hired PI in the one.
See, that's the problem I'm having. I can't come up with any reputations that are good things. Like, I've got one.
I for finance.
I went with shrewd businessman
There
with
you
2. Yeah. So, that's my one. But I'm trying to come up with another one to put at 1.
I don't
Better
know.
lucky than good.
Yeah, let's go with better lucky than good.
I don't know. Shoot, I don't know. Big brother, tell me what it is. What's my reputation? I don't know.
Studious.
Studious. Okay.
Because you're supposed to be the knowledgeable one to balance out my goonishness. Right?
Well, I'm gonna try.
That's
No.
at least what you've created here. That's what it was intended
I
to be,
do.
but-
I do. Yeah, to your point, need something to kind of balance out. So, what if I had a reputation as just like a problem solver, a guy who can find solutions if presented with the evidence? I mean, that's still kind of just in line with everything else I've put
Mhm.
down now. Trying to think of what I can do to flesh out that's not going to totally run antithesis to what I've already worked on here.
So something that's not a sign.
Fashion aficionado.
He does have an affinity for gloves, which is pretty specific.
So fashion
Hand
pizza? A hand
What was
model.
that?
There are no hand models.
Can I put for my reputation? Can I put the best glove maker in London?
I bet.
I
that-
like fashion aficionado.
Oh,
I-
I'm going to you, sir. And we're going to start a business together.
I have a question about because I took skilled along with estate.
Sure.
How many skill points does skilled get me?
That's one of those things that changed from alpha to beta to final. So let me just double check.
Sure.
I don't know what I want my other reputation to be.
I can't.
I've
remember.
got like 6 written down, and I don't like
ranks.
any of them.
It's just, I mean, how often do you get a group and they're like, okay, we got to limit your liabilities? It's like, can we have more? It's not because you want more things. It's because there's stuff we can do.
That stuff will happen.
I want the Glom Gold from DuckTales Nemesis.
Okay, I know
I
what I'm
want
gonna
a
do.
Flint
I know
Heart
what
Glom Gold.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do, instead of doing
Had me at DuckTales.
regain
Yeah,
my
yeah.
status and contain my secret, I'm gonna do the other 2 that I have, and then for my reputation, I'm gonna make one be the keeper of secrets.
The keeper of secrets.
Because that kind of goes in line too with being a PI. She
That-
knows everybody's secret.
Okay, well, that's good that you can keep a secret because I'm going to be signing some contracts that you don't need to be talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. So it's
Exactly.
fine.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear.
Oh my gosh.
If you did take title as an asset, the other player characters would have to call you by your title.
Oh,
Sean.
I'm already maxed out here. I've got my dangerous friends, which I use to
Have to have
intimidate.
You have to have a class of at least 2 to be titled. Nobody
Yeah.
gives titles to class of individuals.
Yeah, so
So-
that's too many assets to sink into that.
Does it ever make sense to have reputations that aren't necessarily true about it?
Sure.
Like, I could see easily with this character, he could have a reputation for having a death wish. Even if that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
People could be like, he's just like,
I mean,
he
I guess
almost
a
dies all the
reputation
time.
really at its core is what people think about you.
Yeah.
You can start the game however you want. As you play, reputations may be damaged and you may gain other reputations. So if you
So,
let me
I'm going to say he has a reputation. We're going to go ahead.
if you let me, and my co-designers don't shoot me for wanting to do this, I would like to use the. I wrote some optional rules for simplified reputation and affinity development
Okay.
that I think work a little better. And if we ever do a revised version of the rulebook, we'll kind of throw them in there. For if they work out well, I may do an article and put them on the website.
Okay.
But it does allow for a lot more easily role playing, changing your reputations as you go.
Yeah. I mean, we're into that. So I'll say I have a reputation for being fearless, and it's not accurate.
That's fantastic.
I wish, oh God, oh man, I want to take us my other affinities so bad.
If you have enough guile and you have enough esteem within a room that people trust you, you can give people reputations by spreading rumors, lies, truths, whatever you got. It's one of the more interesting social combat mechanics in Victorian society. You can do like My Fair Lady, where you take someone who is like nothing and you just build them up with reputations until everyone's
I'm
like,
gonna tell everybody that Jonathan's character hates gloves.
I will destroy your glove-loving reputation.
Give me the gloves. Can they see it wearing fabulous gloves all the time?
It'll just be like, no, that's everything I was.
yeah.
So
All right.
Yes.
No.
This right
One,
so far,
let me
I
do
don't
one more
know.
thing here.
Okay.
What are you showing me?
I'm trying to see if this is right. I feel like I'm missing something. Something's not right.
We send him a PDF later, and
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So you are an official Witchfinder canon.
Raid!
Raid!
Raid?
Hello!
hooray! Welcome party!
Welcome
Raid, thank you
party,
for the raid,
raid.
Welcome party!
Jonathan, you said hooray!
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 What?
Well,
Oh,
this
our
is-
chan-
So
we
another
got-
channel just dumped all their viewers on us.
Yeah.
yeah, we're prepping for Clockwork.
We're
We're
doing little
making
sessions of our character
characters.
creation on our new show here.
If you chose to be an official Witchfinder member and not an aspirant, you get a 2-point reputation Witchfinder.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Because Witchfinders are effing terrifying.
Cool.
And if you took the membership, you also get to wear the leathers.
The leathers? Yes.
Have you seen the picture?
I didn't know it was leather.
This has got to be some like
Oh, I can't wait to draw our
pilgrim looking shit, isn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Oh my god,
I'm here for it.
I'm gonna lose sleep drawing our art.
The leather duster. You get to call people jabroni.
Yes.
I love it. I freaking love it.
Step out, jabroni.
All right.
Step off, jabroni.
The Witchfinder.
My social defense is 5.
He's brilliant. He did a lot of 4th ed D&D artwork. I don't remember.
Nice.
Okay, so if I put Witchfinder and memberships, then the points are 2. You said?
You get a 2-point reputation Witchfinder if you spent an asset on the Witchfinder membership.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely gonna have you look over my paper after this. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
That is all of the detail work. Accoutrements, I'm not really going to make you buy because you're pretty much going to be assigned them. So I'll fill you in on what you get.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about how character creation went, or any comments about character creation, frankly?
I think if you go through the order in the book, it's a lot clearer. I think we kind of jumped order a couple times for dramatic purposes. But
It's
yeah,
true.
if anyone was kind of got lost for a moment while watching through that mostly has to do with our shenanigans. If you
Yeah.
go through the book, it's actually very clear. There are
The
lots
book
of
makes it
examples
very
and flow
easy.
charts and stuff. So
Well,
it's
and the
very
book,
easy.
and what I love about the book too is that you go through and there's the detail, right? And then there's just a walkthrough that's literally just like boom, boom, 2
do
pages.
this, do that.
Honestly, it's pretty fluid character creation as far as some other things that I've gone through. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if you look at other systems, like even like
look at-
Only War, Shadowrun, heck, even
Look at
Maid.
I love this.
Beautiful.
You're
It's
obsessed
beautiful.
with that maid.
No, Maid is hilarious, man. We got to play
Okay.
this one of these days,
All
but we're not going
right.
to talk about it today because
God.
we're doing another thing.
Oh my god.
But
What?
Yeah, he knows.
but
See,
but
and yeah, it's
Well, yeah,
he's getting
no,
a thing.
no, oh no, we don't have to associate with that. That was
he's doing a thing. Okay, I only have 1 card. That's unfortunate. That's okay.
Only have what?
1 guard.
That is unfortunate.
It's fine.
And bad.
okay, so let's go through these last fill out things and the potential.
All right. And do you feel, I mean, if you do your derive stats and you're like, oh my god, I cannot abide by this, feel free and alter your character. Your social combat, if you notice, it's at the bottom center of your character sheet.
Mhm.
It says social defense, will plus skill, and the first little shield there has the word composure written under it.
Mhm.
Generic social defense is written in that shield, and it's your will plus composure, whatever that total is.
I got a
Okay.
5.
I
That's
have. Oh, how many skills did I get? From skilled.
4.
2.
2? Okay.
You still can't go above 3 with
Okay,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
socially defenseless. I got those will points.
it. If you have another social skill that is really good, you can write it into that second blank and put it in that second shield, like guile or parlay. And then it's a special social defense that can only be used in those circumstances.
Oh,
If someone's
sweet.
trying to lie to you, you're like, I might not be so good about like negotiating, but I know when someone's lying.
Yeah, my will plus guile is 7.
Would
So don't even try it. Okay.
would command
That's a great
and or
example of
refinement?
secondary thing.
Would command or
I think your
refinement?
secondaries are better than your primary. It's not even worth writing down. But
I mean, so what else counts as a social skill?
parlay, temptation, refinement can be used in certain circumstances if you have a good refinement. guile, and command.
Okay. So I got a 5 command and a 6 refinement.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm a little balanced. This is a playable character. I think. I don't know. We'll see. You'll tell me.
It's hard to make a non.
Can we get a hard cut to him dying in the
It's
first?
just
and
you can make a playable character, but if you try to like draw a sword when you're a social character and run into combat, it's not going to go well. You just need to know how to play it. Okay, physical combat is immediately to your right of that, and it's your first one. You'll see the little shield underneath of it. It says athletics. Your first generic physical combat defense is vigor plus athletics.
That's a 4 for me.
It's
So
a 1.
not
Give me a big
all
fat 1
together.
for me.
Mine's a 4, so not
Those.
awful,
Not
not
bad.
the worst.
Not bad. Other skills
a
that can be used
2.
for this are fencing, fisticuffs,
None of that.
melee.
Oh, squishy.
Oh, by the way, melee in this game is not melee weapons. It's the ability to be in a melee.
Right.
So it's more like I'm in a bar brawl and I'm using my fists or a chair or I'm using your head as a weapon against the table. Like, that's what the skill is.
I took 1 in melee.
It's also the ability to use weapons that are usually used in the melee of warfare.
Nice.
Like pikes, that sort of thing.
I've got 1 in fencing and 1 in vigor.
Oh, wow.
It's about all my physical defense.
Oh man. But that's a 2. That's more than what your athletics one was, right?
Yeah, my athletics is a 1.
Yes. You definitely might want to put the fencing
my
one
athletics
in.
is 0.
I got-
my,
I got
Like-
2 and 3.
I got 4. My vigor and athletics are 4.
Your guard is equal to 1/2 your focus.
Yeah, I've only got 1 guard. That's not great.
If you have a close combat weapon in your hand, your focus goes
Yeah.
up.
the
Well,
round up
and
or down.
that's going to depend on the accoutrements and stuff like that. Ones.
Or 1/2 focus, or I have an older sheet, maybe Grace. It says Grace plus focus.
That's an older sheet.
Okay. So do you
Using
round up
that
or
system,
down?
you could actually get a guard of 4, and then nobody could ever hit you. So yeah, we totally killed that.
My guard is 1.
Yeah.
So do you round up or down if I have a focus of 3?
Everything always rounds down in Clockwork because Clockwork is the Australia of role-playing games.
Everything wants to hurt you, even you.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. Clockwork is actually a very heavy role-playing game. For anyone that just joined us, that could sound bad. It's like we're playing Torchbearer or something like that.
Warhammer.
40.
Yeah.
Look, Only War is bad, man. It's nasty. I wish I could play. Oh, one of these days.
If you do have the membership in Witchfinder, you took it officially as an asset.
Mhm.
You gain an armor of 1 for the Witchfinder leathers.
Ah.
Oh, and you know what? I forgot. But there are actually prerequisites to taking that asset. So you may have to shift your skills a little bit if you want.
No.
Specifically to prevent probably what
He said no.
I lied on my application.
You know what? The bad part is, with that character that you built, I would not even blink
I greased the right palm,
my blinky little eye.
and they just let me skirt right through.
All right. It requires at least 1 conflict skill at rank 3.
Okay, what is a conflict skill?
Any sort of physical or social conflict skill.
So command?
Yeah.
Yes, command works.
Okay, check. Done.
Academics 1.
Yes.
Investigation 1. And mysteries 1.
Yes. And I gotta move something for this.
Yeah, you said you didn't want. You were like, you won't be getting no help from me.
Wait, what was before mystery?
Mysteries 1.
But before that, you
Oh,
said
investigation.
investigation.
I'll take it out of writing.
I'm a better witchfinder than Sean, and I'm not even.
Whatever, man. Whatever. All right, so I'll take it out of riding, and I'll give myself a mysteries of 1. There we go. So I only have a riding of 1 now.
Okay.
There goes the dressage.
The only thing we have left to do is purpose, which potential rather. And the reason that I was leaving this to the end is so we can talk about how it's used in the game.
It's the best part of the game.
Cool.
It's my favorite thing.
Purpose. Why is it your favorite thing?
Because creativity. I love things that allow you to be creative. Love.
All right. If you are a pureblood, you get a +2 bonus to purpose. So we're in potential, top left of your character sheet, right next to class and needs. Purebloods get 2 points of purpose.
Okay.
Weak-blooded changelings get 1 point of ether and 1 point of purpose. Strong-blooded changelings get 2 points of ether. That's everybody, right? It's a heavy fade game.
Yep.
Pursuits. Discovery gets ether. 1 point. Faith gets purpose. 1 point. Freedom gets ether. 1 point. And you're going to have to remind me what your backgrounds are.
Here.
Peer is purpose. 1 point.
Tycoon.
Cabinet of Curiosity.
Tycoon is ether. 1 point.
Okay.
Oh god, my ether's going up.
Ether is what you burn to use guile, to use glamour. So it's probably good that you have a lot of it.
Well then.
Good choice, brother.
Don't worry, I'll look after you, whole thing.
I've specifically picked everything so that I have 2 of each.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm police, which is purpose.
What did you end up picking? Professional?
No, I went with police.
No.
I was Tycoon.
You're Tycoon.
Yeah.
All right.
I went.
Melissa is Tycoon.
Yeah.
All right.
We're Tycoon family.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get to choose one, whatever you want.
Oh.
I get.
Do you want to
That's
take
so
a minute to explain
Yes.
all the potential and the difference between the two?
So ideologically, potential is how bound you are to the clockwork and how much you exert your own free will. But how they're used in game is like meta currency. You can spend points in game and you'll get them back eventually. They kind of refresh by session. Purpose can be used for 2 things. It is undoing of consequences. So like the clockwork turns in your favor. And if something was going to thwart the clockwork's plan for you, well, now the clockwork turns and it doesn't happen. This would be like the thing that I always think of is the scene in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles where the young Indiana Jones is jumping out over a trench in World War I and somebody shoots him square in the chest and it hits his St. Michael medal and miraculously doesn't, the medal bends and the bullet falls off and he falls down and is otherwise unharmed. That would be spending a point of purpose to avoid a wound. So you can avoid any sort of consequences. You can avoid being convinced. You can avoid being persuaded, wounded, or any sort of condition in the gameplay. Because this game uses a lot of conditions rather than just damage. So if someone were going to disarm you and you're like, no, you can spend a point of purpose to not be disarmed. You can also spend it to take temporary narrative control of the game. Anything plausible, Jonathan,
Why are you looking at me? Come on.
Have you been watching the other show? Have you been watching Kashana?
Plausible, not possible. It is plausible for it to rain anytime in England. It is plausible if you fell into a stream off a bridge that it was deep enough that you wouldn't, get hurt. It is plausible if someone someone shoots a knife out of someone's hand that it would roll across the floor and land next to you. Those are all plausible things. You can spend a point of purpose to force that to happen. It's plausible that if you went to school at Oxford and you went to a bar in Oxford that you'd run into one of your classmates. It is not plausible that you would be in a bar on the lower docks of Lagos on the west side of Africa and run into one of your Oxford classmates. So you can take temporary narrative control of the game and kind of insert something in. You can also use a direct, like, of course I grabbed that pocket watch before we jumped off the airship. That sort of thing.
That's powerful shit.
Yeah, it's.
Remember how I said it's my favorite?
I am going to tell the most elaborate stories.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, but wait,
there's
more. Ether is legit too.
Ether is spent to it's used to fuel glamours, so keep that in mind. This is a lot less like D&D where you can just throw magic around. Ether is a commodity. You need to keep onto it and use it sparingly because you need it to power abilities such as glamours, certain types of magic spells, but also it allows you to reflip cards. So if you flip a card and it is disfavorable toward you, you can flip it and replace it with the next one. It can be done for cards that you flip, and it can also be used for cards flipped against you. So if someone flips a card to shoot you and you're like, nope, reflip that, and hopefully they'll miss. So it's very, very, very useful meta-currencies in game.
Yeah, I think I ended up with 2 and 2, and then I put my one that I could pick in purpose, because purpose is for the pure rituals, and then ether for the glamours. So I decided to go with purpose.
Hey, samesies.
So I got 3 and 2. Purpose to ether.
I got 3 and 2. I ended up with 3-1, and I took a second ether just for balance.
You'll find that the magical abilities in Clockwork are actually very powerful, but because they require points of potential to use, they actually are used very sparingly.
Yeah, I'm probably only going to use my my ether for changing cards.
Yeah, well, see, I need my ether for glamours.
I will not use mine ether because that's mystical stuff. That's my sister's territory.
So should I just max out on that?
Think Phantasm doesn't use ether, does it? Isn't Phantasm
However,
that you don't have to spend any ether points?
Occasionally the clockwork will just turn in my favor and things will happen. I don't understand how it happens. I don't know.
Melissa, you're going to want to take Beguile. Whatever else you take for glamour, take Beguile.
I don't know what that is, but I'm trying to get on
This is the game master subtly telling you.
Yeah.
This is a way to handle the person that you've been saddled with.
I feel like you're misusing the word subtle. Because
Beguile is basically.
I'm gonna apologize in advance when you see my PDF, man. Kind of a mess.
What page?
What are you showing off there?
Huh?
Or handhold.
Oh no, this is just my fidgeting cards. Hold on.
Yeah, this. There you go. Yeah, fiddle with the branded decks now. Come on.
Right? There you go. Right.
He manipulates those very well. I don't know if we should trust him with his own deck.
Yeah, no. He does this a lot. He practices.
It's not that good. This is just what I've started doing during the games since I don't smoke on stream anymore. I don't have anything to do with my hands.
Next thing you know, we're gonna see him with like long sleeves and magic card comes out.
I've got to.
No.
One of those Lando Calrissian cards.
Yeah.
These are much easier because I've been using these big old spell deck cards. They're a little bit oversized.
I've been doing up close magic.
Yeah, the two I took
All right.
awe and I took.
Let's wrap this up. This man has a family.
All right.
Good point. Good point.
They're all sleeping. I fit that life stage where I'm like, 11 is bedtime.
Oh man.
Does anyone have any questions about character creation or about fitting a character into a campaign? Or anyone watching anything? I can field them before I head off to Slumberland.
Yeah, if anyone out there in Viewerland has any questions about this game, this is you may not have come across this. For those of you who are just joining us, it's called Clockwork Dominion. It's actually been around for a few years. Surprisingly enough, not a lot of people have been streaming it or putting out video footage. I think I've seen like one short campaign of somebody doing it, and hey, more power to them. They seem to have a ton of fun, but they seem to be a little bit loose with the system. So this may, realistically be the first time this game has been played as intended on stream. So be sure to give us a follow. We're going to be going every other week, with the exception of Halloween. So we're doing in 2 weeks, right? Zeke, confirm the dates for me so I don't say something wrong. We're doing
so
2
2 weeks from
on
now
the
is
17th.
17th. Yeah.
And then we're going to be skipping actually the 31st, but then on the 7th, November 7th, correct? And then the 21st.
Yes.
All right.
I was thinking, why haven't I streamed this game before? This just seems like something I should have done to promote it. And then I was like, wait a second, I have a 3-year-old. That's why I haven't done this in the last 3 years.
And it's actually not as easy as people think to stream these games. So see, we're actually a shout out to our new producer apprentice here, who's been, this is her second session ever, and she's managed to bring you the audio and the video tonight. Tech Critter, give some love to her.
Oh, Tech Critter.
So yeah, again, if anyone has questions about the game, about the system, if you want to ask the creator a thing, right here. And you can always come back when we're playing the sessions. The first one's good. Well, tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing, because you did mention too that there's some
first
new
session
stuff being published.
Is actually a con game that we've written that we're trying to adjust to release as a game for players. And you're basically being sent to a nunnery, which is one of the very first nunneries to exist in England after the Reformation. True story, actually happened. But in our version, there's a lot of skepticism about the popishness of a nunnery, and people do not have a very good relationship with the convent, with the local town. There are lots of rumors flying. So when one of the nuns is actually arrested for public disturbance, all sorts of rumors are flying about possession and evilness, or what might be going on there. And so for political reasons, the Witchfinders are brought in. The canons to smooth things over, and the stars to figure out what the problem might be.
To rattle some cages.
We're gonna be the worst Witchfinders out there. Oh my god.
The best.
Again,
Witchfinder.
I'm a better Witchfinder than Sean, and I'm not a Witchfinder.
And so should we survive to session 2?
Yeah.
Look, I think we should end it out with an introduction for all of our characters, because we've been doing a lot of time putting our stats down and everything. We haven't really introduced ourselves.
Oh, can we do that?
I think it's a great idea.
I guess.
All right.
All right, let's start with you, Puck.
Yeah. Sean. Oh no.
I am the pure blood, Robin Goodfellow. I am a witch hunter star. I come from a tycoon family. We have a brand new estate that we've just purchased up a little bit above our station. And I take good care of my little sister who works with me in the witch hunters. All right.
She's above you in rank.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't see it that way.
Okay.
Speaking of your sister.
Speaking of your sister, Melissa.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be loose. It's not permanent because, like I said, I'm gonna need Zeke to look at my character because I know I fudged up somewhere.
Okay.
Like halfway through.
Hey, we don't need you to list your stats. Just tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Well, it's not my. It's on the members and assets bit, but okay. I'm gonna just kind of gloss this. Let me hear your accent one more time, Buck.
Oh shoot! Okay. I am Robin Goodfellow.
I am Robin Goodfellow.
Yeah.
Okay. I am Maggie Goodfellow. And I am, unfortunately, the younger sister to this thing over here that I call my brother.
Actually, guys, if you really want to play up this whole like class 1 nouveau riche thing, you should talk in Cockney accents.
Oh, please.
Oh, let's do it.
Don't tempt me.
Please.
I'm Robin Goodfellow.
There it is.
Oh, jolly good. Okay. Then I am Maggie Goodfellow. Like,
I love it.
Oh,
go do some practice in front of the mirror tonight.
Oh no, we'll play it up. We'll do like a doubles act. It's gonna be great.
You'll nail it.
Accents are not required.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to accent this shit. Yeah. Get
I
ready.
apologize to any English people in the audience.
well, I apologize to everyone in the audience. Just blanket statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
You want me to go next there?
Yeah,
Please.
sure.
Go.
I'm trying to figure out what my name's supposed to be. Huh?
Hi, Lassie. I be Jessica.
Yay.
What happened to Alice?
I do not ken where you be from, but I ken where I'm from. I'm straight from the heart of Edinburgh, me love. Moved to London a few years ago to investigate crimes and such. Don't be getting hired though, because everybody's upset that I'm a woman. You damn fools.
Oh. Tell them.
I can't deal with you, Billy.
I think it's. Do I have to? I have to do that. No, okay. My name is Nathaniel Russell. I'm very interested in what these folks are doing, and I don't think they realize it yet. But it's physics. You know, it's physics. They think it's very, like, but it's not. It's just thing, and you just have to sort it out. And so you just have to be close to it. You just have to see it. So if I see it more, then I can figure it out. And that who kind of caused problems. I didn't get to finish my education, but it's fine because I'm smarter than him, anyways.
This laddie seemed to got some problems.
Well, son, something tells me you're sorting out physicality ain't exactly your strong suit.
I can tell you that.
He was not prepared for what
This
just
is
happened.
going to be like the Witchfinders as played by the Muppets.
That is an accurate representation of what we do on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I would be creating a show.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. If that be all, gents,
I think we're good.
I think that's it.
a good evening to you all.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. I think I guess a few announcements.
Oh, well, oh yeah, right.
Nope.
Oh yeah,
that's
we
all
got
good.
stuff coming.
Nope.
No, not. We're
It's three minutes.
She cut it.
It's
Oh,
okay.
we know
It's
we're back.
good.
Okay,
Good
yes. Throw out the announcements.
Announcements.
Take it.
Coming up this weekend, we're gonna pick up where we left off with the crossover episode. Teams are gonna go to their separate places and do things. We got Monday coming up of YouTube fame. Mr. Joe Cat from Crap Guides D&D will be guest starring on our YouTube game with Too Many Warlocks on Monday, or on our Twitch stream with Too Many Warlocks on Monday. Be sure to keep track of everything going on with us. Check us out in the Discord. Check us out on Facebook, all the fun social media, and definitely give us a follow on the channel so you can keep up whenever we go live with all kinds of cool stuff. There are goggles. Other than that, keep out for this show. Our next one's going to be on the 17th of October, so definitely hop on with that. And oh yes, we got Poison Paradise every Tuesday with Deadlands.
Did you mention followers when we hit 400 followers?
Oh yeah, 100 followers. 400 followers, we get this incredible Elderwood scroll.
We'll
Dice
take it out this time.
Dice tray, yeah, because it takes a little thing to put together. Anyways, it's really cool. So once we hit 400 followers, we're going to be doing a little giveaway for that one too.
And we are like 51-ish.
Yeah, we're at 4.
Yeah, we're climbing every day.
All right. Other than that, stay tuned for the raid, and we have. So you're welcome to think about this if you would like to, Zeke. But we kind of have a tradition around here. Each DM sort of, or for each world system, sort of get their own sign-off phrase. So you can think about it. You don't have to come up with it right now. But if you say something right now, you're stuck with it.
TikTok.
Trapping me? You're pigeonholing me?
No, I'm kidding.
This is
your
coming.
show. This is your show, so you can do whatever you want.
Oh, now I feel like I'm on the spot.
That's what I'm saying.
It's okay. Save it for next time.
The world turns, the empire falls, the Pontus rises. This is the Clockwork.
I knew it.
Love it.
All right, Ashley, take us out. Stay tuned for the raid, everyone.
Nope.
Oop.